Click to connect with an online volunteer to learn more about starting a relationship with Jesus.
Sunderland, pressure's on because, if you get that first one, it's the confidence it gives the keeper then a little bit where, I can go for this one, but the referee's told to both keepers.
Yeah, the referee, John Brooks, having a word with both keepers, telling them what's allowed and what's not. Jordan Pickford and Robin Roofs. And Everton are going to start, I think, and it's going to be James Garner to take the first one for Everton. It was his penalty in the 88th minute that got Everton back on level terms in the contest. So, Garner versus Robin Roofs at the opposite end from where he took the first penalty. He put it to Roofs' right-hand side. The left as the keeper dives. The right is the way that we look at it. So, up he steps, spots the ball down. Wipes his hands on his shorts. Touches the ball again. Roofs puts his gloved hands up towards the crossbar. James Garner steps back. Steadies himself. Waits. Up he steps. Slowly, right-footed. And saved by the goalkeeper. Away to his right-hand side. Garner went to the opposite direction to the one that he'd been successful with a penalty kick late in normal time. And now Sunderland have the advantage. And we wait to see what Jordan Pickford can produce from this one. Looks like it's going to be Enzo Lefebvre. We know what he did at his last penalty against Brentford with the Panenka that was saved by Quivine Kelleher. I don't think he'd go that way now, but with modern day footballers you can never really tell. Enzo Lefebvre versus Jordan Pickford. Everton have already missed the first one of the penalty shootout. Enzo Lefebvre readied himself, right-footed, and it's into the back of the net. Courageous dive by Pickford, but didn't get near it. Hit with power and pace and into the corner. First blood to Sunderland. Ronnie Goodless.
Yeah, as Nightfaller's day wasn't going to do it. Panenka, he's put his foot through that. I mean, Jordan Pickford's gone the right way. He's guessed right, but the pace and power on, and it was off the floor, virtually side netting. I mean, you can't get much better than that, but you've got it now where, pressure's on. You've got to must virtually the next one.
Cherno Barry for Everton to take penalty number 2. Good on him to have the confidence to do it. Short run up, stuttering run up, and the worst penalty that you've ever seen in a cup tie at this stadium. Absolutely dreadful. No power, no pace, and the goalkeeper could have threw his cap on it. It rolled, it trickled, it hardly made it to the 6-yard box. Dreadful penalty from Cherno Barry, and Everton are up against it.
Well, the thing with it, as you've been saying about, put your foot through, but I don't get it, Mike. As long as it ends up in the back of the net, does it matter how it gets there? Smash it.
There's no extra bonus for
Franny Lee scored 13 on the bounce by smashing it, and the thing with it again.
Here's Granit Xhaka. He's going to hit this left-footed Granit Xhaka, Sunderland captain, into the corner, beyond Pickford, who didn't even dive for that one. But it was into the corner and beyond him.
That's some pen again. Again, he's just put his foot through it. It's side net, and again, exactly. I don't care if you've got 2 keepers when it hits the side net. It's so hard to save. But when you do this little lackadaisical run up and the little stutter and the little thing, just put your foot through it, pick your corner, and get on with it. And you've got it where Xhaka again, experienced as it, has put it away.
Beto to take penalty number 3. Everton already trailing 2-0 in the penalty shootout. They look to be heading out. Beto saved by the goalkeeper. Oh my goodness. A short run up and a right foot shot, diving away to his left hand side, and Roofs has saved it. Garner, Barry, Beto, Everton's 3 penalties all missed, and this from Luke O'Nien to win it for Sunderland. Beto's penalty was aimed for the corner, didn't get anywhere near as close to the corner as it should have done. How could it be, after Everton have only taken 3 penalties, that they look to be heading out? Luke O'Nien has the ball under his arm, hasn't spotted it down yet. He does precisely that now. Steps backwards, half a dozen paces. Pickford jumps up and down on the line. He has to save this one. O'Nien! Into the back of the net. Pickford beaten straight down the middle, right-footed. Everton are out of the FA Cup at the 3rd round stage again, this time on penalties after a 1-1 draw with Sunderland. Late drama from Everton from the penalty spot in normal time with that excellent clinical penalty from James Garner. Converted low into the corner to eventually help Everton to that 1-1 draw, but it was Garner who took the first penalty. He checked and changed his decision and went right-footed to the other side, saved by Reeves of the Sunderland goal, and the 2 penalties that followed from Cherno Barry and Beto were really poor. Sunderland converted all 3 of those. Enzo Lefebvre, Granit Xhaka and Luke O'Nien.
This is 5 Sports Extra.
Thank you to Radio Merseyside for their commentary. Now on Sports Extra 2, we'll continue our FA Cup 3rd round coverage and join BBC Radio Newcastle for Newcastle United versus Bournemouth.
We'll have reaction from a red and white perspective at half-time here on BBC Radio Newcastle. We're also on BBC Sounds today, and if you have a smart speaker, ask it to play BBC Radio Newcastle and listen to us there as Eddie Howe tries to get Newcastle United into the 4th round of
প্রেগন্যান্সিতে নিউজটা নেগেটিভ বা পজিটিভ হওয়ার চেয়ে অ্যাকুরেট হওয়াটা জরুরি, আর তাই আমার ভরসা সেটাই যেটা লাখো নারীর ভরসা। গেট শিওর প্রেগন্যান্সি টেস্ট কিট, মাত্র 3 মিনিটেই অ্যাকুরেট রেজাল্ট। তাই প্রেগন্যান্সিতে বি শিওর উইথ গেট শিওর from Get Well.
Of Ramsdale's goal at the Gallagher end. It was an effort from Alex Scott from 20 yards or so. Newcastle shooting up the hill towards the Leazes end in the first half. And what we're seeing here is seemingly Wissa at centre forward, Willock on the right, Barnes on the left, and Voltemada just behind Wissa. That looks like their setup, at least from their first foray forwards. Botman to Barnes, who has 9 goals this season, as does Voltemada. They lead the way. Bruno next on 8 for United, and they look long for Barnes towards the edge of the penalty area. Ball up from the back. Wissa bringing it down, trying to help it to the right side to Ramsey. Bournemouth send it up towards Enes Unal. Krupi plays it back to Scott, and now in behind, but Trippier covering and then making a challenge and then being dispossessed by Unal, and Tonali back to play it to Ramsdale, and it's with Livramento on the near side in towards Ramsey. Heavy touch. Bournemouth have possession in the Newcastle half, chipped into the box. Botman heads away, and Voltemada makes a challenge in midfield, tries to bring it forwards. Some appeals for a free kick, mainly from Voltemada, nothing given, and then Tonali adjudged to have fouled Adley next to the halfway line, and Bournemouth get the decision.
Yeah, it was a good battle that in there, wasn't it? Voltemada, was it Cook who was involved?
There was a banner at the Gallagher end, just one, and it was in the colours of the 96-97 denim away kit, and it said the Messiah, and now St James's Park sings the name of Kevin Keegan. Another show of support following his cancer diagnosis that was made public just before the Leeds match on Wednesday. Voltemade closing down, out on the near side for Bournemouth, who have a throw with Adam Smith not far from halfway. Tonali playing, his partner gave birth the other day, congratulations to them, and straight back into the team today in midfield, Sandro Tonali. Here's Brooks for Bournemouth, takes a tumble between two Newcastle players, then Livramento challenge on Smith. He makes an appeal for a penalty, nothing given. Newcastle lose it as they try to clear, and Enes Unal scoops a shot straight into the hands of Ramsdale, who moved slightly to his right to gather. Ramsey in midfield gets turned and passes it to Trippier. Good to see him back. And that's a good ball in behind. Joe Willock on the move. Willock crosses. Bournemouth header in the 6-yard box. Then they struggle to clear. Voltemade nods it. Barnes back to goal on the edge of the area. Still got it, Barnes. It's with Ramsey. He gets it back from Willock. Ramsey on the move. Oh, that's good play by Jacob Ramsey. And his ball into the centre is blocked, and Bournemouth win a free kick following a challenge from Trippier near to the corner of the area. 0-0.
Good pace, wasn't it, Ramsey? Good strength as well. Just picked it up nice and direct, nice and strong. Busts into the penalty area. Final ball let him down though.
Did Bournemouth have any what's the word? Did they have a case for either of those?
No.
Brooks when he went down, and
no.
Smith?
No, not at all.
It's been, I'd say, probably an energetic start from the away side. We've made 6 changes to Newcastle's 7, and a header on at the edge of the box, and a low shot that is fired straight at Ramsdale. They've had a couple of efforts so far. Aaron Ramsdale has been behind both of them.
Yeah, just as well Groupie didn't get his head up. Brooks was in loads of space on this right side. Could have rolled him in. He would have been clean through on goal.
Livramento facing his own goal, back to Botman in the corner. Willock takes a touch near to halfway from Botman's forward ball, and Joe Willock puts a lot of effort in to close down goalkeeper Petrovic. It's played out to the far touchline to Julio Soler, Argentinian under-23 international. His ball up the line, intercepted by Newcastle. Tonali's pass across midfield is cut out. And Eli Junior Krupi for Bournemouth in possession, and they go back to the goalkeeper. He gets it again, Petrovic from centre half. Hill, and not the best clearance from Petrovic for Bournemouth. Out for a Newcastle throw on the near side. Botman, big switch on the diagonal to Trippier, who can't control. It's a Bournemouth throw just behind halfway on the far side. 0-0 at St James's Park here on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. And hello to you if you've been listening to Sunderland's victory at Everton on penalties. Quite a remarkable penalty shootout by the sounds of things. Now it's commentary from St James's Park in this 3 o'clock kickoff. We're in the 7th minute. Ramsey for United looking for Voltemade, who seems to have a bit of a free roll this afternoon. Newcastle win it back in midfield. Willock up to the edge of the area, out to Ramsey. Barnes edge of the box, a lovely flick. Voltemade finds Wissa.
Oh, what a save that is.
That is a terrific diving save from Petrovic. They worked it to Wissa, who tried to curl it into the far corner, but Petrovic got across and with one hand tipped it around the post.
Oh, great build-up. Gets it out of his feet, and you think goal all day long. Goalkeeper gets a long arm. That's a top save. That's an exceptional save.
Kieran Trippier making his first appearance since the 9th of November on the defeat at Brentford. He's going to take the corner. Out swinger from the right. It's a Bournemouth header away. both Chow and Voltemade ended up on the floor there. Newcastle go back to Tonali. He lifts it into the middle, and then the away side get it clear. Livramento's covering. Ramsdale's come almost a halfway to get to the ball first and play it forwards to Tonali. He gets it straight back from Trippier and then turns and plays it to Ramsdale, who's still outside the Newcastle penalty box. And this is Livramento to the feet of Barnes, up to Wissa, flicked back towards Voltemade. Wissa is down. No appeals from Newcastle, no free kick given. Scott on the outside of Tonali and heading wide left with it, and he played it towards Soler, who'd gone ahead of the ball. And out it goes, Newcastle throw. The Bournemouth move breaks down, then United from the throw. Tonali and Trippier.
Sloppy.
Both teams.
Yeah.
Bournemouth throw, 20 yards out.
Yeah, sloppy from both teams.
Coming forwards to take the throw for Bournemouth is the centre-back James Hill. He's gone out to the left wing, so he must have a long throw. But every team's got somebody now, haven't they?
Yeah, who can
put a long throw in. Nobody on either post. Ramsdale just ahead of his goal line. It's towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Voltemade nods away. Bournemouth head back in. Tonali clears. Another Bournemouth header. There's Chow. Newcastle appeal for offside, not given. Voltemade brings it down in midfield. And Tonali here looking for Ramsey. It's intercepted again. Enes Unal lays off at the edge of the area. And now a cross from the left straight into the hands of Ramsdale near post.
Yeah. Too easy for the keeper, wasn't it?
Everything that Bournemouth have put in, whether it's...
ক্লায়েন্ট রাজি হয়েছে, তুমি আসতে পারবে তো সময়ের মধ্যে?
এত চিন্তা করো না, আমাদের অনেক সময় আছে।
তুমি এখানে কিভাবে এলে?
আমি লিফট করে আসলাম অত্যাশ্চর্য হিরো এক্সট্রিম 125R এর সাথে। আপনার দিনটিকে দুর্দান্তভাবে উপভোগ করুন।
মামা বন্ধ করে দিল?
হ্যাঁ,
চলো ওই দোকানে যাই।
আজ কিস্তি যাবা না?
ভাইজান, বিকাশ থাকলে কোথাও যাওয়া লাগে না।
বিকাশে
নিশ্চিন্তে কিস্তি দেই, ডিজিটাল পাস বই সাথে রিসিটও পাই।
কি বলে? হ্যাঁ,
এখন এনজিওর কিস্তি
বিকাশ পেমেন্ট করলেই স্বস্তি।
Whoa, Thomas Bramall, the referee. That must be it. Oh no, are they giving a corner to Bournemouth? What are they? Yeah, because of that situation. When you hold on too long as a goalkeeper, it's a corner. That's the first time it's happened to Newcastle this season. The new rule that's been introduced. So Ramsdale held on for too long. Bournemouth corner from the left. Flicked across the box. Ramsdale next to his post. Punches it behind on the near side. It was headed across the face of goal, and Ramsdale had to take action. Bournemouth get another corner. The 11th minute, 0-0. This time on the near right-hand side at the Gallowgate end. And here comes David Brooks, the Welsh international. Plenty of movement in the 6-yard box. Ramsdale punches from his goal line. Lifted back up by the visitors. Smith, the right back, into the box. Trippier heads it up and out of the area. And now Scott from 20 yards, dipping shot. Hit. But it went too high and didn't come down in time, over the top.
Yeah, good hit, wasn't it? Good technique. Always too high, though.
Let's have a look at some of the other FA Cup scores as Ramsdale prepares to take a goal kick. Doncaster 0, Southampton 1, Burnley are 1-0 up against Millwall. That's Ashley Barnes for Burnley. Here's Tonali, centre circle, drops his shoulder, finds some space, played into the path of Trippier. In the Bournemouth half now, Newcastle. Here's Tonali again. carries it away from a couple of blue shirts, inside to Jacob Ramsey, finds the feet of Voltemada, finding Barnes now in the area, sidesteps his man, scoops up across, Wissa tried to flick a header across goal, it's caught by
it was
Petrovic.
difficult one, wasn't it? There was no pace on it. There was no pace on the ball, he's just flicked a little header. Comfortable save for the keeper.
Played up into midfield by Bournemouth. Brooks with a heavy touch, and the ball's run into the path of Livramento. Wissa lays it off to Ramsey, but Johan Wissa was offside. And the flag has been raised against Newcastle. Bournemouth beat Spurs on Wednesday 3-2. It was I suppose, a nice goodbye from Antoine Semenyo with his injury time winner, 95th minute. Prior to that, they had gone 11 games without winning. They were as high as second in the Premier League at the end of October. Their winless run's quite remarkable because they're a good team, and the manager is always linked to other clubs, isn't he? Whenever there's a vacancy or not, highly rated. But they've been on a bad run, although they changed that in midweek. Ando, they started quite well.
Yeah, I mean, watched them against Arsenal. They lost to Arsenal, but they played well.
Back to Ramsdale from Newcastle. Botman, Livramento, he's at left back today. Hall on the bench. Finds Ramsey, taking it well and carried it well over halfway, nudged over by Krupi. Free kick. Played immediately by Botman. Tonali brings it back, looking for somebody to pass it to. Has to give it to Botman. Up to Livramento. And now with Sven Botman again. And they go back to Ramsdale. It's out to the right. It's away from Chow. I thought he could have got there, Chow. Seemed to give up on it. Bournemouth have a throw.
Obviously couldn't get to it.
There's two balls on the pitch, but there's also a player down in blue. So the referee has stopped the game.
It's Krupi, is it? Yeah.
He's got back up. He seems to be holding his knee. The manager's just encouraged him to shake it and shrug it off. Throw's going to be taken now. They've got rid of the extra ball. Diakite, the centre-back, makes a run up the left touchline to receive it. Back to Hill. Trying to drop it in behind Trippier. Too much on the pass. Goal kick for Newcastle United. Quarter of an hour gone, and it's 0-0 at St James's Park. Earlier, Sunderland through on penalties. 3-0 in the shootout after a 1-1 draw with Everton. They're into the fourth round draw, which, by the way, is on Monday night before Liverpool versus Barnsley, which is a 7:45 kickoff. So if you want to plan your Monday night and the draws before the game, then Newcastle will hope to be in it and play their FA Cup fourth round tie next month over the weekend of 14th of February, Valentine's Day. Man City 1-0 up on Exeter. Max Allain, the defender they've just recalled from a loan at Watford, has scored, and he might be involved on Tuesday. They've got some defensive injuries, City, but he's scored. They're 1-0 up, and Antoine Semenyo is starting. Here go United. Willock out to the corner. Deep cross. Petrovic stretches and claims in the 6-yard box.
Did well to dig the cross out, didn't he?
It's on the floor for Bournemouth on the near side.
Oh dear.
And it's a swinging ball up the pitch. It goes out from
Hill.
Centre-back Hill. Livramento to Botman. Newcastle near to their own penalty area with this throw across to Chow, who had a really tough 45 the other night. Eddie Howe said he took him off to stop him getting sent off, but obviously there were not just the yellow card, but errors leading to the two lead goals.
He did. He had He's been brilliant. He's been absolutely first class, but that 45 minutes there.
Livramento for Barnes, middle of the attacking half. Barnes drops his shoulder, comes inside. Voltemada takes it, returns it to Barnes. Decent football. Ramsey close to the edge of the penalty area. Lovely feet to Voltemada, onto Wissa, back towards Voltemada. Bournemouth make a challenge and then get it clear. Neat and intricate passing under pressure. Not a huge amount of room to work in, but it was tidy. Here's Tonali up to Barnes in the area. Ramsey, now Willock, and Barnes with a cross. Voltemada goes for it with his head and wins a corner.
Good play. Nice and patient, worked it wide.
I'm going to wait for the corner, then I'm going to put something to you about Voltemada. Let's see what comes of this set piece as Newcastle try to establish a lead here in the FA Cup. Everybody's come back to defend, and they've got Wissa, Chow, Voltemada, Botman beyond the back post. They now make their move into the middle. The corner is deep. Bournemouth header reaches Wissa, and Newcastle appeal for handball. Wissa's ball into the centre was blocked. Bournemouth knock it forwards. Trippier, good positioning to take it under control and stop the counter-attack. 0-0.
Brooks is struggling.
He's limping, the Bournemouth right winger. And Donny Iraola's looked at the bench, the manager.
দাঁড়াও, জানি তো হেঁটেই যাবে। বাজার করে আসার সময় ভারী ব্যাগ নিয়ে হেঁটে এসো না, রিকশায় এসো। নিজের ব্যাপারে গরজ সামান্যই, কিন্তু আমাদের ব্যাপারে অসম্ভব সচেতন।
এইবার এইটা না, কিছুটা কমে পাইলে নিতে হবে না? আমাকে একটা রাঁধুনিই দেন। নেন।
হাঁটা স্বাস্থ্যের জন্য ভালো, এটাই তো বলবে।
পরিবারের জন্য সব সময় সেরাটাই বেছে নেবেন আপনি, তাই আমরাও নিশ্চিত করি সেরা তেলের সর্বোচ্চ বিশুদ্ধতা। সেরার জন্য নিশ্চিন্তে আস্থা রাখুন রাঁধুনিতে।
If you walked into a company and asked where their IP assets are stored, no one could point to a shelf or cabinet. These invisible resources don't look like assets, yet they control your entire digital footprint. Maybe that's why they're overlooked. But invisibility doesn't mean insignificance, and as the internet grows more complex, the organizations that treat IPs like critical infrastructure will outpace the ones that treat them like temporary tools. So the question is, are we ready to rethink how we value the foundations of the internet? Join NRS. Be empowered to own and protect your digital identity.
Just flicks it inside off the outside of his right boot to Botman, onto Ramsey. Now there's movement up ahead, but Ramsey might take it himself into the area. He did.
Just overran it, didn't he?
Hill makes a challenge, and it's out for a throw for Newcastle. It's a second ball on the pitch. They could do with
getting it off.
Yeah, somebody needs to move it, don't they? And a young ball boy's gone to pick it up. Referee didn't stop the game.
Oh, how much space.
Botman into midfield. There is a lot of space that they're finding in midfield. Willock, chipped cross, cut out. Ramsey then intercepts, following the Bournemouth defending. Voltemada and Livramento exchanging passes. Barnes here as Livramento goes beyond. Barnes likes to come inside, threatening to do that again. Corner of the box, roll to Voltemada, back towards Barnes's run. Newcastle have lost it. Brooks to Krupi on the right wing here. Brooks up the line, out it goes. Chow with a quick throw to Tonali. There's good intensity about Newcastle's play. Ramsey has got a run from Trippier. It's played to Willock, and now it's towards Trippier, but it's intercepted. And Bournemouth up to halfway. They find Enes Ünal, the Turkish international, up front today. Scott.
Dear.
I think that was a ball in behind rather than an attempt to chip Ramsdale from halfway.
Yeah, I think he was trying to pick Krupi out, but got it all wrong.
No goals yet on BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sounds app and the Newcastle United website and app. Botman up to Barnes. Smith's got hands on him. Barnes falling, manages to roll the ball towards Voltemada,
but he did well.
The big German couldn't quite get there, and it's back with goalkeeper Petrovic, and Hill
done it again.
Slices them off the outside of his right boot, doesn't he? Newcastle, Ramsdale, Trippier, Chow, Botman, Livramento, Tanali, Ramsey, Willock, Voltemada, Barnes and Wissa. That's the 11. Bruno among the substitutes. Malik Chow over to Sven Botman. First start since that match at Brentford on the 9th of December that we mentioned earlier. That was Trippier's last appearance. That was Botman's last start because of a back injury. Tanali into space, finds Barnes. Brooks jumped in and didn't get there. Barnes running at Smith into the area, then on the outside. Good feet from Barnes.
Good defending.
It's going to be a throw next to the corner flag. 0-0.
Yeah, Brooks looks like he's struggling, but they don't seem to want to make a change.
Tino Livramento picks up the ball, covers it with his black and white shirt, and now lifts it up behind his head, throws it to Trippier. Back up the line to Livramento. Space for a cross, maybe. No, a through ball to Barnes. And it's blocked. The cross from Barnes near to the goal line. Livramento's kept it alive on the near side and gets it back from Trippier. Taking on Smith into the area, Livramento. It's on his right. Rolled back to Tanali. Good feet by Tanali. Back through for Livramento. Low cross put out and behind. And they get a corner.
Needed to be lifted, didn't it? Cross needed to be lifted. Just played it along the ground, Livramento. Good build-up play again, though, isn't it? Patient.
Barnes with this corner. Nobody defending either post, but everybody back for Bournemouth. Barnes plays a short corner along the goal line to Tanali, gets it back from the Italian. Deep cross, too high.
Too deep.
Chow was the nearest player to it, right at the back of the box on the goal line. But he couldn't get up and head it back in. So it remains Newcastle United 0, AFC Bournemouth 0 on BBC Radio Newcastle. What are your feelings about the performance, John Anderson? A much changed team this afternoon.
It's been okay. It's been okay, it hasn't been bad. You've got to remember, a lot of these players haven't played together.
Tanali to Botman. Middle of the United half. Nothing on. Up the pitch, so back to Ramsdale they go. And it's with Ramsey now across midfield. Shrugs off the challenge of Scott. Gives it to Barnes, carries on his run. Harvey Barnes inside to Livramento, back to Botman. Jacob Ramsey just pulling it. Look at it, he's feeling his hamstring, right hamstring there. After that run, Newcastle get Trippier in on the far side. Oh, the cross missed the first defender, but it was behind Wissa, and then another Bournemouth defender managed to clear. Hopefully Ramsey's okay. He's on the ball now from Voltemada's pass. Livramento for support. Jacob Ramsey still looking for his first Newcastle goal. Decides to play it to Tanali. Edge of the area, back to Tanali from Willock. Looking for Willock again. Blocked. Harvey Barnes. Bournemouth are cutting off all the space in the middle. Livramento with a ball back to Tanali. And his cross was missed by the goalkeeper. But then it's been cleared. And Chow covering. Gets there before.
Unal's struggling
He's
as well.
injured as well. They're going to have to make another change. Or going to have to make a change, Bournemouth, with a couple of players struggling with injury. And Newcastle just keeping an eye on Jacob Ramsey and his hamstring. Unal's sitting down. He's out of the game at the moment. Joe Willock kicks the ball out sportingly. so that Unal can either get treatment or be replaced. But Jacob Ramsey might need some help as well.
Yeah, he's feeling his groin, isn't he?
And David, a problem with Unal, but yeah, they're going to make an early substitution. Kieran Trippier is Newcastle's captain today, and he is talking to the two centre-backs, Botman and Chow, and Ramsdale's there, probably just sorting a few things out. And as Unal gets a hug from his teammate Amin Adli on his way off. And they're going to bring Evan Nielsen on. Not fit enough to start, perhaps, but on he comes. Southampton are 2-0 up at Doncaster. Manchester City are 2-0 up against Exeter. Rodri with the second goal. And it's 1-0 to Brentford at Sheffield Wednesday. Keane Lewis Potter with the goal for Brentford. And all the other FA Cup 3 o'clocks, apart from Burnley 1, Millwall 0 that we discussed earlier, are goalless. It's 4 matches at 5:45, and then Charlton Chelsea at 8 o'clock. Reaction to Sunderland's win on penalties at Everton coming up at half-time here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Ball back to Aaron Ramsdale. Newcastle can restart the game following the substitution. Botman under pressure on the edge of the area, sends it forwards. It missed Tonali and Voltemada and came to Brooks. Now up to Evan Nielsen. First touch is a through ball for Krupi.
Oh,
and it's another Bournemouth effort straight at Ramsdale.
It's a poor effort, isn't it? No power, nothing in it. But yet again, Botman trying to play out from the back gives it away.
Livramento. Good position. And now Barnes, close to the edge of the penalty area. Flicks it back to Livramento, who carries it in towards the centre. Finds the feet of Voltemada in the box. Now Ramsey, wide right to Trippier. Thinking about a cross, it's a short ball roll to Ramsey on the edge of the area. Pushed across to the centre now to Tonali, and left corner of the box to Barnes. Taking on Smith. Barnes has been tackled, and it's cleared by the away side as far as Botman. Bournemouth are forcing Newcastle wide, aren't they? There's no space centrally, edge of the area.
No, they're making it go wide all the time. Quality of balling's got to be better. Brooks on this right side struggling as well. His movement's not good.
Botman to Jacob Ramsey. Back it goes. Ramsdale long towards Wissa, who climbs, but Hill beats him in the air on halfway. They've got it back United. Ramsey.
খাবো কি খাবো না
They taste more fizz.
Wow.
Max Cola. Taste the maximum.
Both teams played in midweek. Well, there were midweek Premier League fixtures. But Newcastle look like they have more energy.
Yeah, they're the ones doing all the pressing, the ones asking all the questions.
Different corner kick taker again, Tonali with this one. Petrovic punches, it hits a black and white shirt, it comes to Willock, who has a bit of a wild swing
at it. At it, didn't he? Yeah, he just lashed at it.
It's a goal kick. And the goalkeeper's touch straight onto a Newcastle player, and then down into the path of Willock at the back of the box, but well wide of, high and wide actually, of the goal. 0-0. Fulham 0, Middlesbrough 1 is a latest score in the FA Cup third round. Newcastle gone out at this stage twice under Eddie Howe. In fact, in his first 2 seasons there was the Cambridge result in the early days of the Howe reign, and not long before they made a few signings in that crucial January. Although I think that was Trippier's debut, wasn't it? And he was the only new player in then. Then Sheffield Wednesday beat them the year later. Best they've done is a quarter-final 2 seasons ago, but they were beaten at Man City. Eliminated in the 5th round here after extra time by Brighton last year. Tonali up to Livramento. He's into the box now, Tino Livramento. Hangs up a cross. Willock keeps it alive by getting his boot to it, but can't send it back into the middle. It's gone behind.
It was a difficult one for him, wasn't it?
No criticism of Willock.
No,
did his best to try and stop it from going straight out.
It was a deep cross thrown in by Livramento, and he's always stretching Joe Willock just to try and keep it in play. Couldn't manage to do it.
They play a short goal kick from the left side of the 6-yard box from Diakite to Petrovic, and the keeper sends it long. Trippier heads forwards. Voltemada comes. Oh, beautiful first touch. Then he's down and wants a free kick. Doesn't get it. Evan Nielsen for Bournemouth to Krupi in the centre circle, and now Brooks off the right wing on his stronger left foot. And then centre forward Evan Nielsen plays another pass. Backwards they go, and Evan Nielsen goes into the middle. I think he'll give them more of a presence. He's not the biggest Evan Nielsen, but he is a very good player. Whereas Unal is not the regular first choice. Evan Nielsen.
Brooks can't run.
Is. Livramento clears from the left corner. Header from Bournemouth. Tonali's got it back. Barnes drop of the shoulder and attempted to run it up the left wing, but only succeeded in taking it off the pitch, and a Bournemouth throw in their half. It was a tight area of the pitch for Barnes, and couldn't get another touch on the ball before it ran over the line. Bournemouth's ball now next to the Newcastle bench. A throw, one off Livramento. 35th minute, and Brooks leaves the throw for Smith. Referee tells him to go back with it. He throws it back into play to Hill, and his long ball forward is met in the air by Livramento, and Evan Nielsen's got it, lifts it up away from Tonali, back to Cook, and from inside the Newcastle half he fires it back to Petrovic. 0-0. The big centre-back Diakite up to Krupi in midfield. Now Brooks facing his own goal, back to midfielder Lewis Cook, and then the other central midfielder Alex Scott rolls it to Petrovic in the D. Chow's backpedaling here, and it's gone beyond him, and Bournemouth have it close to the Newcastle penalty area with Adley. Straight at Barnes. Tonali from Barnes' touch onto Voltemada. Now they could be away. Voltemada carries. It's got Wisser to the left and Willock to the right. Voltemada nudged over, but no free kick.
You can't keep doing that. The slightest touch, he just going down. You can't keep going down like that looking for free kicks.
Obviously his touch is excellent, but he's not the sort of player that you expect to be able to run away from defenders, and they've got bodies around him and did enough to win it back, Bournemouth. So he can carry it so far, but then obviously needs to release it. You wouldn't expect him to just charge.
He's feeling contact, and he's just rolling down. You're not going to get free kicks for that.
And he should be used to that by now, shouldn't he? Having had a few months.
It's gone flat, hasn't it?
English game, 0-0. They're looking for a goal, which I think the match needs. There's a Bournemouth throw on the right in their own half. Brooks trying to get past Botman. That could be a foul, but it isn't. Next to the assistant referee, Brooks asks the question, why not, as Ramsey lifts it into space for Trippier. It's a great ball. Trippier takes a touch, fires over the cross. Hill's header and he finds another teammate on the far side, and they're attempting to bring it clear, and now the whistle's gone. Ramsey, the foul straight into the back of Scott.
Brooks doesn't want to be out there. He's talking to the manager.
A couple of other goals. Ipswich 1, Blackpool 0, and Burnley 2, Millwall 0. Latest FA Cup scores. No goals here. Newcastle with Voltemada and Wisser on the pitch together for the first time. Bournemouth have it on the left wing. Chow makes a block on the cross, and Tonali out to the touchline. Scott's all over him and fouls the Italian. And a free kick awarded to United by referee Thomas Bramall. Bournemouth's FA Cup best performance is the quarter-finals, which they've managed a few times in their history, including last season when Manchester City beat them. Voltemada trying to head on, but Hill made an attempt first to win the ball, got up and headed away, timed his jump well. Tonali to Trippier on the halfway line, rolled back to Botman. It's rolling slowly as well, and Krupi was closing down. Botman's ball up, the pitch is intercepted by the visitors, and Brooks in behind for the run of Scott in the penalty area. Chow is with him, forces him out towards the right corner. Livramento there too. They come back up the line, and Cook turns.
Oh,
it's a deep cross, too close to the goal.
Was it a cross or a shot?
Do you think he was trying to chip Ramsdale?
I think so. I think it's a cross.
They play it out quickly, and Ramsey has got lots of room through the centre and out to Willock. Wide on the right, near to the edge of the box, inside to Tonali. Could he hit this one? Tonali does. Took a touch and then let fly, but missed the target. Went for the near side.
Struck
of goal.
it well enough, didn't he? Broke so quick. I mean, Bournemouth had so many players in advanced positions. Acres of space. Good strike, but not on target.
Another short goal kick, and Diakite gets it straight back from the keeper. Wisser is nearby. It's high ball lifted towards halfway, and it's with Ramsey for United. He's been dispossessed. He's seen quite a bit of it, Jacob Ramsey, today, hasn't he, in the middle of midfield?
Yeah, he's been lively, hasn't he?
I think he's done okay. Bournemouth, Brooks plays a nice pass inside, gets it back again, then whips it over to the far side of the area to Adley, looking for Brooks in the middle with a return ball. And we've just been talking about him. Jacob Ramsey got back there to stick it behind. Good defending.
Not too sure why Adley didn't take the shot on.
It's a match that hasn't had the drama of Wednesday night. If we can put it like that. Mind you,
that was asking for a bit much, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm not sure our nerves could take anything quite like we saw against Leeds. Not for a while anyway. Bournemouth short corner, and then a shot from Scott blocked at the near side. Ramsdale got down, but it didn't reach the goal. Wisser clears. But after they made a strong start, then Newcastle took control. But now Bournemouth are enjoying a good spell again. That could be a foul, and it is. And it was a pull by Hill, dragging Trippier to the floor in the box. Free kick for United. Trippier's gone for a quick ball up the pitch, but it's beaten Willock and gone out just past halfway on the far side at the east stand.
Yeah. Intentions was there, wasn't it?
Lights are on at St James's Park, but still a bit of clear blue sky above us. Darkness will descend soon enough. Nice day though. Here is the Bournemouth throw, and Eli Junior Krupi volleys it back to Hill in the middle of their half of the pitch. Brooks inside to Cook, tries to take it away from Tenali, rolls it up the line to Smith. Tried the nutmeg. Bournemouth's captain today on
তার না হোক প্রতারক আকিজ বশির কেবলস, বাংলাদেশের একমাত্র কেবলস যা দেয় 3 লেয়ার প্রোটেকশন আর 105 ডিগ্রি পর্যন্ত হিট রেজিস্ট্যান্স। প্রতিটা ঘর নিরাপদ হোক। আকিজ বশির কেবলস, কনফিডেন্স উইদিন।
over his shoulder, Voltemada with a header, Cook's got it, and now on the floor with Evan Nielsen inside to Krupi, good challenge by Chow, they win it back, Voltemada inside to Willock, play to Chow, Trippier moving into space on the far side, and he gets it, wants to play it forwards quickly, they've got runners, one of them is Barnes here, trying to get beyond Hill, good defending by Hill to make the challenge, it came to Willock, Hill made another tackle, Barnes has got it back edge of the area, and he finds Wissa!
Oh, offside, thankfully.
Wissa miscued the effort, but his blushes are spared by the offside flag.
Yeah.
Hill did well twice, but couldn't prevent Newcastle from creating a chance, and Wissa was offside. Good decision.
Yeah, he gets his body position all wrong to hit that volley though, doesn't he?
How do you think it's worked between the two? Wissa up top, Voltemada playing off.
Voltemada's playing where he plays.
Yeah. But in terms of any kind of relationship with Wissa,
there hasn't really been one, has there?
A couple of passes, hasn't there? But nothing significant.
No, there hasn't been.
Although
they're not close enough together.
Actually,
that's the problem.
It was it Voltemada's ball that played in Wissa when he had the curling shot save?
Yeah,
that would be the moment, wouldn't it, where it could have worked to perfection. But Petrovic made a really impressive save. Livramento takes a throw in his own half, gets it back from Ramsey, and inside it goes to Ramsdale. Forwards about 5 yards to Chow. Manchester City are 3-0 up against Exeter now, and an own goal. And Burnley have gone 3-0 up against Millwall. Ramsdale to Ramsey, on to Chow. Numbers board at the end of the first half says there'll be a minimum of 2 minutes. Botman to Livramento, back again, Ramsey onto Voltemada, closed down quickly, Hill gave him a shove, Voltemada's come away with the ball, could lift it over the top, Trippier was ready to run in behind. Played it square to Chow, didn't want to lose it, Voltemada. Up to Willock, flicked on, but won back by the away side. Soler up the left wing, Trippier slides in, Scott takes it around him. He's approaching the edge of the penalty area here, Alex Scott. Joe Willock comes back, makes a challenge, shoulder to shoulder, no foul. Newcastle getting black and white shirts forwards. Barnes towards Livramento, that's a lot of him there. Livramento plays it forwards, Bournemouth win it back. And now it's their opportunity in first half, added on time, to try and create something. Smith with a cross towards the edge of the area for Evan Nielsen, and now Adley into the box, cuts it back, but Evan Nielsen just missed it. And here go Newcastle.
Breaks on.
It's end to end at the moment. Joe Willock, 3 for support. Willock's played it through the middle. It's with Petrovic, the goalkeeper. Now, there are groans, but did they give him the best option? He's played it in a gap in the middle.
There was no real options for him. People were just running in straight lines.
I think he was expecting either Barnes or Voltemada, who were to his left, to cut across a defender there. Ramsdale here from Trippier's back pass. It's a big kick to halfway. Barnes, great first touch, and now in behind. Wissa's chasing, but Hill's got there first, the defender, and he sticks it out. We're almost at the end of the 2 minutes. They're going to have to be very quick here. Wissa to Voltemada. Referee's whistle could go at any time for half-time, and it does. That's it for the first 45. Newcastle United 0, Bournemouth 0, John Anderson.
Yeah, hasn't been great. Not a great deal to write home about. Petrovic has made one great save from Wissa. Looked like the forward had done everything right. He's just trying to bend it in. He got a strong hand to it and pushed it around the post. Had plenty of the ball, but haven't really created too much. Got into some good areas. Final ball has let us down. At the other end, Ramsdale hasn't had a great deal to do. It's still in the melting pot.
It's often the way it goes with 7 changes, isn't it?
Yeah, it was always going to be difficult when you're making that many changes. You know, players that haven't played together before, still finding their ways, finding their feet. But kicking down the hill second half, you hope it's a little bit better.
And we'll bring you that second half here on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. FA Cup third round at St James's Park. Half-time, Newcastle United 0, AFC Bournemouth 0.
Scott Meakin, BBC Radio Newcastle.
Hey, did you know that Dragon's Den star Sarah Davies has got a new job? Quiz host.
People who don't know us, they think I'm just scary. I'm really not. I'm really just a nice northern
You
lass.
are.
So I would always try and come in early and go and meet the contestants and try and put them at ease, so that by the time I started asking them questions, and I have to go into serious Sarah mode. It's like I almost take a deep breath and then the clock starts and I'm firing the questions, and then they'll get to the end of the round and I'll go, well, I tell you what, you weren't half going for it there, pet, weren't you?
Scott Meakin, weekday afternoons from 2, BBC Radio Newcastle.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Goalless then at St James's Park at half-time. Newcastle United 0, Bournemouth 0. Back with Matthew Raisbeck and John Anderson very shortly. Elsewhere in the FA Cup today then, we'll start with the early games. We'll leave one of them for a moment because we know that Sunderland were at Everton. At Leicester won 2-0 at League 2. Cheltenham, Patson Daka and Steffi Mavididi in the first half. Macclesfield with statistically the greatest FA Cup shock in history. They beat Crystal Palace, the holders, the Premier League side. The team 117 places above them in the pyramid by 2-1. Dawson in the first half, Isaac Buckley-Ricketts in the second for the National League North side. They got a consolation, Crystal Palace, but couldn't find an equaliser. Wolves were in no such trouble. They beat Shrewsbury of League 2 by 6-1. Jurgen Strand-Larsen with 3 of the 6. At half-time then, in the 3 o'clock games, Bournemouth 0, Burton Albion 2. Kyron Lofthouse, formerly of Gateshead, with Burton Albion's first and own goal, made it 2-0 just before half-time. Burnley are 3-0 up on Millwall. Barnes, Chowna and Anthony, so they look comfortable. So too does Southampton, who are 3-0 up away at Doncaster Rovers. Bragg, Archer and Matsuki with their 3. Middlesbrough lead at Premier League Fulham. Hayden Hackney with the only goal of the game so far after half an hour. Fulham 0, Middlesbrough 1. Ipswich lead Blackpool by a goal to 0. Jayden Philogene 10 minutes before half-time. Manchester City look very much like they are going to avoid any kind of upset. They lead Exeter by 4-0 at the Etihad at half-time. Elaine, Rodri, Doyle Hayes and then Fitzwater, the latter 2 own goals. 2 own goals in the final 5 minutes of that first half, giving Manchester City a 4-0 lead. Brentford through Keane Lewis Potter lead 1-0 away at Sheffield Wednesday, and it is goalless between Stoke City and Coventry City. There are 4 games at 5:45 then. At 8 o'clock it's Charlton against Chelsea.
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Not a lot of EFL action today, of course. No championship games even scheduled because of the FA Cup. In League 1, 3 games postponed. 2 have already finished. Luton beat Stevenage 2-1, came from behind to do that, and Stockport scored in the 96th minute to beat Huddersfield by 1-0. At half-time it's Leyton Orient 1, Cardiff City 1, and Peterborough lead Bolton by 1-0. There were 5 games called off in League 2, which means only 2 go ahead and only 1 goal between them. Crewe Alexandra 0, Harrogate 0 at half-time, and Michael Cheek has given the leaders Bromley a 1-0 lead away at Tranmere Rovers. In the National League, no scheduled game for Gateshead today anyway. Hartlepool are 2-0 down at Woking and a man down now at half-time. York City are drawing 1-1 away at Sutton United. No game for South Shields either because of FA Trophy fixtures. All of our teams in the NPL East Division had their games called off. The same was true for every single Northern League Division 1 and 2 game this afternoon. In the NPL Premier Division, it would have been a clash between the top two, Hennisford, Holdstone, Hebburn, but that was also called off. The one game of ours that went ahead, Morpeth Town at Ilkeston, and they lead after 10 minutes. Joe Brayson capitalising on an Ilkeston mistake, so he has the goal, and Morpeth lead 1-0 away at Ilkeston at half-time. No local football roundup, obviously there just isn't enough to round up, but we will get some Sunderland and some Newcastle Red Bulls reaction next.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
North East-born actor Charlie Hunnam is up for a Golden Globe this weekend. We can't get him on the show, he's too big for us, so we thought, let's find the best link to Charlie Hunnam. Gareth from Wickham, what's yours?
I'm standing in the press that used to be Liam Monument. There's a couple of ladies looking across, didn't really think too much of it, and then I'm sitting on the train one time going down to London watching this new series I'm into called Sons of Anarchy, and there is a guy called Jack Steller.
The man you've been stood next to was none other than Charlie Hunnam, Jack Steller.
Why does he not go around in his leather jacket so I can identify him?
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6. Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle.
Goalless at St James's Park at half-time. Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0. Back with Razor and Ando for full commentary of the second half shortly. Heading to extra time as it stands. Sunderland were at Everton earlier on today. Their first ever visit to the Hill Dickinson Stadium. They are through to the fourth round, Sunderland, for just the second time in the last 10 years or so. But the Black Cats did it the hard way. Goalkeeper Robin Roofs was the hero.
Beto against Roofs. Jumping up and down with his arms raised. Beto. And it's saved again! Roofs going down to his left has saved again.
Well done, Robin.
They've missed their first 3 penalties because Roofs has saved all 3.
He only needs to score this one, Luke.
Score this one.
Come on, Luke, boy.
And Sunderland will in the fourth round. Forwards comes O'Nien, hammers it home, and Sunderland are through. Sunderland win 3-0 on penalties. What a result for Sunderland.
What a result.
Having conceded a penalty in the 90th minute, they win 3-0 on penalties.
Fantastic.
Enzo Lefay,
fully deserved.
Granit Xhaka and Luke O'Nien with the 3 penalties, and Robin Roofs
great save
with 3 penalty saves.
I think you look at Everton's penalties and it just summed up their performance today, because I was not impressed by Everton.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always,
you know, take nothing away from Sunderland. Sunderland played well, but you've got to say they didn't look good as a force, as a team, did they?
No.
Come on, Robin.
So you can hear them singing their hearts out. Amazing.
Great support. Fantastic.
And it's great that Sunderland have actually, you know, still in the FA Cup. It would be great to have a run in the FA Cup this season. It's just something that just gives everybody that little bit more, that good feeling from Sunderland.
I tell you what, it's going to be a long time before you get an away support like that in this stadium.
Yeah, in the end, it's all come well. It's all come good for Sunderland, and they will be in the bowl for the draw for the fourth round of the FA Cup.
More than 7,500 Sunderland fans at Everton, and they go through on penalties 3-0. Robin Roofs saving all 3 penalties that were fired at him. He had a quick chat with Nick Barnes after the final whistle.
I think if you save 3 penalties out of 3, I don't want to call it a hero, because I could have been a hero if I saved it in the game, but no, it's a nice way to help the team. Yeah.
Talk me through those saves. You saved all 3 of the penalties in the shootout.
Yeah, we did some research. So before the penalties went, the goalkeeper coach comes to me. He shows me a little bit where they expect him to shoot, what is their preferred side, which foot they are, and then I just decide myself if I go with it or. But I think most of the ones he wrote down good, so he did a good job.
And how's it feel for you? Because since you came to the club, you've been something of a fan favourite, and now you're going to be really cemented as a fan favourite.
Yeah, no, it feels really... The time I've been in the club so far has been really great. Good for me. The boys are so good. We have a really good team, and I'm just really enjoying my time.
So that's Robin Roofs, the hero. As Nick Barnes has just said, Sunderland will be in the FA Cup 4th round draw tomorrow evening. Back with Newcastle's second half in just a couple of minutes' time. But time to get some reaction from Kingston Park. Newcastle Red Bulls with their 3rd consecutive win in the European Challenge Cup. 2nd win in just over a week as well. They don't come around very often, Newcastle Red Bulls wins, but they beat Perpignan 26-19. Tries from Christian Wade, Sammy Arnold, Elliot Obatiyimbo and George McGuigan. It's 3 wins from 3. They have qualified for the knockout stages of the competition. Here is their head coach Alan Dickens speaking to our rugby union commentator Dean Gray.
A game, Alan, that was hard fought, nuggety, and eventually the team came out the right side of in a tight game, 26-19. Have you got any fingernails left?
I'm actually all right today, to be honest with you. No, I agree with your summary there. It's very tight. There were a couple of occasions that we certainly felt in the box that big moments where we could have taken the game away from Perpignan, but unfortunately we didn't quite get over the line. I think probably within the last 10 minutes they held us up over the line, and we just felt there we scored. That was the game. We would have made for a little bit more relaxing finish. But hey, fantastic work from the players today. I thought they were outstanding.
It was a pretty brutal game as well, wasn't it? Physically full on both sides. Struggled to get much continuity in the game throughout, but so it became very attritional. What are the bodies like down in the change room? We just stood upstairs and listened to once again the Bladen races, which is always good to hear because it signals that the team's won again. But there must be some aching bodies downstairs.
Yeah, there will be. I think certainly. Now they probably won't feel it. Tomorrow they may feel sore. I think there'll be a lot of players who feel sore. But ultimately that shows that they put the bodies on the line, both sides of the ball. And I think testimony to the players today. I'm so proud of them, and both sides of the ball defensively, some massive turnovers. To think of one was got in the second half, Tom Gordon right on our line, and off the back of that we got a penalty, another penalty, and the attack clicked when we scored. So that was a big swing within the game, and it's kind of talked a lot around in terms of attack, defence, set piece, dovetailing, and that was an example today.
Had a massive French pack. I know the French do like big packs, but that was a huge pack. Including likes of Tuolangi, who was 6'4" and 23.5 stone. And you're quite a young lock pairing now, or back row and lock pairing out at the end of the game. 2 locks there, and Finn Baker and Oscar Rusher. Oscar's the running man of the match. That was almost a baptism of fire, but they came through that really well. The pack was really strong.
Look, you've talked 2 players there who are from this region. We've talked a lot around wanting to push players, develop players in this region. They're 2 players that are there now. So I think it's fantastic that they take the opportunity. Someone like Finn Baker has been excellent. He's just had been drip fed into the first team over the last 4 to 6 weeks. But as you say, Oscar Rush was fantastic today. I thought not just Oscar. I thought as you said there, the pack as a whole. As you've talked around, they were a big French pack, and I think we get 1 or 2 more tries, held them out. So, and I think that's testimony certainly in the line out, the work that Scott McLeod does, and then also with the more work that Mickey Ward does. So I thought it was excellent. I think. Talking there again out of the pack, we knew they'd come strong in the scrum. I thought we probably got the better of them in the scrum as well. So I think really pleased.
Really pleased. So he should be. Congratulations to Newcastle Red Bulls. Alan Dickens there, their head coach, talking to Dean Gray. In the basketball, Newcastle Eagles beaten heavily last night in a strangely low-scoring game. 76 points to 50 they lost at home to the London Lions. Newcastle's Terrell Burden, the match's top scorer as an individual, with just 15 points, and he was the only Eagle to hit double figures last night. Their second game of the weekend is away at Cheshire Phoenix. Tips off at 5:30 tomorrow. The women are in Super League action at 5 o'clock today, so in an hour's time they are away at Auckland Wolves. Also tomorrow, Newcastle United women, back to football briefly, I meant to mention this earlier, their game at home to Birmingham that would have been played at the Gateshead International Stadium tomorrow, called off because of a frozen pitch. Durham against Sunderland in the River Wear derby kicks off at midday and is still going ahead as it stands. Talking of cold sports in the Ice Hockey Whitley Warriors tomorrow at home to Kilmarnock Thunder at 5 o'clock in the Scottish National League. Right then, we're a minute or so away from the second half beginning here at St James's Park. It is Newcastle United 0, Bournemouth 0 at half time. Second half coming up in just a moment. There will be, if it remains goalless or if it remains a draw, there will be extra time, potentially penalties. We've had it once on BBC Radio Newcastle already today. Will we have it a second time? Let's find out in the company of Matthew Raisbeck and John Anderson.
Total Sport North East.
The FA Cup.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
And thank you to Colin. And here come Newcastle United for the second half. Back onto the pitch, and we'll let you know if there are any changes at the break. Bournemouth's players are bunched together pitch side, and now they come on to the field. They're doing some mini warm-up around some discs, some little sprints, and then they run into the middle of the pitch. David Brooks, who seemed to have an injury in the first half, has come back out to play the second 45. They've already lost one to injury, which is up front where the change was made. Evan Nielsen on for Enes Unal. No further alterations. Newcastle, Ramsdale in goal. Trippier, Chow, Botman, Livramento, Tanali, Ramsey, Willock on the right, Barnes on the left, and Voltemade playing off Wisser. So they look a little bit different. 7 changes today. And Bournemouth, Petrovic, the goalkeeper, Smith, Hill, Diakite, Soler, Scott and Cook in the middle of the park, Brooks, Krupi, Adley and Evan Nielsen. Voltemade coming back and playing it back. Bournemouth win it, and Eli Junior, Krupi here. Tidy play in the Newcastle half, and then they go back to halfway and out to this this left-hand side. Newcastle in black and white, as you would expect at St James's Park. Bournemouth in their blue and black away kit. Header on there by Adley beyond Trippier, but Chow was covering, and United have possession now with Tanali on the edge of the penalty area. Trippier lifts it into the middle of the park. Voltemade takes a first touch and then finds Livramento with a second. And Barnes to Botman. Up the line to Livramento. They're still in their own half, not able to find a way out. Ramsey 1-2 with Tanali, and Ramsey continues to carry it, looks inside now, finds Voltemade, man on, and he was unable to keep possession, but they've got it straight back. Tanali at the front of the centre circle, tackled by Adley, and he wins a free kick.
He's done well today, Ramsey. I think he's played well.
Here's Livramento to Trippier. Voltemade and Wisser want it, floated in and headed out by Cook at the edge of the area. Botman on his chest. Back to Chow. And Tonali to Botman and Chow. Newcastle short passes around halfway. Malik Chow could go back to the keeper here. Botman goes across to the far side, gives him an angle for the pass and gets it up the line to Barnes, who's got Smith behind him. Free kick given Newcastle's way. Smith pushed Barnes over. On the bench, Pope, Hall, Joe Linton, Gordon, Alex Murphy, Bruno, Neve, Miley and Alabi. There is that stat, isn't there, about all the matches they haven't won since Bruno made his first start when he doesn't play. One of them in the Premier League was at Bournemouth in September. They left him out, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
And they didn't win that either. It was 0-0, as this one is.
It was a poor game, wasn't it?
And when he doesn't start, they tend not to win, Newcastle, but he's been so influential this season. I'm sure we'll see him at some point if they need a goal. They look for Trippier here. They might create something now, but his first touch presented the ball to the Bournemouth left-back, Julio Soler, who's lost it now to Joe Willock, and Trippier with a nutmeg. Tanali back to Trippier, up to Willock. Good first touch by Willock. Now trying to get around Diakite in the corner. Back to Tanali, 25 yards out. He looks for space. It's back to Trippier, pushed across to Botman. And Ramsey, centre circle, up to Tonali. Trippier wide right to Joe Willock. Infield he comes, but he's lost the ball, no foul. Bournemouth find Evan Nielsen, straight at Livramento. Evan Nielsen on the turn, he's given it back to United. And it's wide left to Barnes, now close to the penalty area. Barnes cuts in, finds Jacob Ramsey. No room for the shot for Ramsey. Wisser edge of the area, into the corner for Willock, away from Willock. He's tried to keep it in. Soler clears. Not a bad start to the second half though, 49 minutes played. Botman forward ball, Barnes backing into his man, holds it up, leaves it for Voltemade, and then makes a forward run. Voltemade back through, what a ball! Harvey Barnes! Great goal! Barnes and Voltemade combine, and Newcastle take the lead in the FA Cup. Barnes held it up, rolled it back to Voltemade, a perfectly weighted through ball. Such a measured piece of play, and Harvey Barnes scores goals. It's his 10th of the season. He's Newcastle's top scorer outright. Just moving ahead of the player who laid that one on, Voltemade. He slotted it under Petrovic from 6 yards, and it's Newcastle United 1, AFC Bournemouth 0.
Yeah, good goal. Good movement. Hill just lets Barnes run off him. He watches the ball, he doesn't watch the player. Barnes gets in behind him, and when he gets into those areas, you always fancy up the score, don't you? He keeps it low, drills it under the goalkeeper. 1-0.
10 goals. That's a great return for any. He's a forward player, but he's not a centre forward, and it doesn't always start Harvey Barnes, and he doesn't always start, although he is today,
but he
in his favourite position.
But he's shown today, when he started on that left side, what he's capable of.
He's a goal threat for most of the players.
He's always a goal threat. Always a goal threat. And he's going to give the manager a big problem. You know, the manager's going to have a problem on his hands about who's going to play on that left side.
Gordon tends to get the nod. He's on the bench today. Gordon's got 7 goals. He's got some big ones in there, penalties in particular, and not downplaying the difficulty of doing that at the times that he scored them. But Barnes delivers and delivers again, and he goes on goal-scoring runs, doesn't he? Here's Soler with a dangerous cross. Evan Nielsen, as the away side try to respond quickly. Livramento and Ramsey bring Newcastle away from the penalty box. Here's Tonali, and back to Livramento on the far touchline. So ball played backwards to Botman, rolled into midfield to Ramsey. Livramento, oh no, given away. Evan Nielsen is in, and Evan Nielsen hits it straight at Ramsdale. To be fair, the keeper stayed big and made a block, I think, with his chest, but Bournemouth should be level after a Newcastle mistake. They've got another chance here with Scott in the area, and that one's blocked by United on the way through to goal. Trippier was there. It's a throw near the corner flag on the left. 2 huge opportunities for Bournemouth. Livramento, a rare mistake, let Evan Nielsen in. Ramsdale, who's been criticised when he's played in the Premier League for not making saves, has made another one there from the Evan Nielsen effort.
It just hits it straight at him though, either side of him. I mean, that's a huge chance. It's got to be scored.
It's still 1-0 to Newcastle. Here's the long throw from James Hill. Wisser, good jump and header clear. Bournemouth try to put it back into the box. Tonali nods it away. Scott brings it down. I thought Scott was going to take it on early when he got the ball back at the edge of the area. He now plays it to the left, and Botman has been fouled in the middle. As he heads clear, Newcastle get a free kick. Anthony Gordon sent out to warm up. At 0-0 at half-time, I was preparing for 30 minutes extra time, which would follow if this finishes level after 90, and then it could be penalties. That's what happened in the Sunderland match earlier. They went through Sunderland at Everton following the shootout. Newcastle hoping to join them in Monday's 4th round draw. Tonali, header to Trippier. Inside to Ramsey. love to see Ramsey score his first Newcastle goal today. He's had a good game in the middle of the park. Voltemada from Botman's ball, tried to help it on to Barnes. Bournemouth quickly send it forwards, and it's Krupi near the corner on the right. He's got 3 in the middle. Krupi's cross back post just beats Evan Nielsen. It was ahead of him. It was almost right across the face of goal, next to the posts. They keep it in and work it into the centre, and now go back to the right wing, Bournemouth. And it's Brooks for Krupi, trying to get a return ball there from Adley. And now they bring in Soler, the left back cuts inside, right-footed shot blocked. Newcastle lead 1-0. Wissa chases a back pass. Hill, he waited, he let that come to him.
Did well.
And then released it. Wissa was almost on top of him. Bournemouth find Krupi in space, and his shot is palmed down by Ramsdale, straight to Evan Nielsen, who's offside. Evan Nielsen puts it in,
thankfully.
But he was offside when Krupi took the effort on. Ramsdale patted it down in front of himself in the penalty area, about 6 yards out towards the penalty spot. Evan Nielsen followed up, lifted it away from the goalkeeper, and then rolled it in, but he was offside, Evan Nielsen, and Newcastle's goalkeeper made another save there, but then got caught out on the rebound, but is thankful for the offside flag, and it remains 1-0 to United here in the 55th minute. Bit fortunate, when you spill a shot,
offside.
when you spill a shot at the feet of a centre forward.
Yeah, he's. You can't push it out back into that area. Got away with it.
All of the saves he's made today have been straight at him, haven't they? But the one from Evan Nielsen that hit him on the chest was probably the shot that had the most venom in it. And that was a very important save, that one in particular. That one from the Krupi effort nearly let the visitors back into it. BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds are a reminder, if you have a smart speaker and you want to listen to us that way, ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle. Ball is with Amin Adli. Good feet there. Away from Newcastle in midfield. Trippier slides in.
Studs are up.
And has conceded a free kick. There is no card or anything, just a free kick for Bournemouth on halfway on the left. We'll catch up on some other scores in a second in the other FA Cup third round ties. Goals going in other games. Petrovic lifts it up to Adley, and now through to Krupi. Bournemouth, it's going to be a corner on the right as Eli Junior Krupi was about to get his shot away. Newcastle, I think through Sven Botman, made an important block, but they have a player down here, and it looks like Livramento. And whatever that is, you just hope it's not his knee. Oh, but he waved and signalled to the bench straight away, Livramento. And he's down on his back with his hands across his face. He's come back this season from 2 separate knee injuries. He had an ACL injury when he was at Southampton in the year before he joined Newcastle. We don't know that this is his knee. He is sitting up now as Lewis Hall and Alex Murphy are sent along the touchline, along with Bruno, actually. I just want to make sure that he's all right. First and foremost about him, however, with Cher injured, Kraft not available, Byrne not yet back, a few weeks away.
Looks like Hall's coming on.
They're not going to take any chances with Tino Livramento. Perhaps they've received some information that he can't continue anyway. But the good news is that he's up and he's able to walk off. Let's hope this is a precaution. I think it might be his ankle. But as always, when there's an injury, any television pictures don't always give you the the full picture of what goes on, because they have to go through a crowd of players. It's a Bournemouth corner. Lewis Hall is on. 59 minutes with Newcastle leading 1-0. The comments from the manager about the transfer window again have been that it will pretty much be dictated, if they do anything, by the length of the injury list. And they might have another player on it here, Tino Livramento, but hopefully it's not as bad as it initially looked. Here's the corner, teased into the near post. Voltemada away. Botman chases out to the far side to Brooks, who's got it back on his left into the area, and it's Brooks pushed away by Ramsdale and cleared by Tonali. And Willock here going for the ball. Smith, who didn't really get the header right, and Cook straight to Ramsey, helps it to Tonali. Wissa far side, Tonali plays it. Willock trying to take it on. Wissa's there as well. Keeper's missed it. The goal is free.
Oh,
Bournemouth flick it behind for a corner. They survive just.
Keystone Cops, goalkeeper, what you doing?
They got in a mess, Bournemouth.
Yeah, they totally did. The goalkeeper, he wasn't the bravest, was he, the goalkeeper?
Didn't fancy it. Willock did well. And Wissa was involved in the box too. After the corner was won, Wissa was throwing his arms up at the Gallagher end to get more noise. Fans responded, and Lewis Hall going to take the corner. Left-footed from the right. Fired into the back post. Oh, headed down off the bar. It's Botman. Back to Hall. And a pass towards Trippier. It was a short ball, didn't do him any favours. Trippier's got it back though from the Bournemouth clearance. Willock, free kick awarded against Joe Willock.
No way in the world.
And I have to say, it's Soler who's gone down. That looked incredibly soft, but Soler's obviously claiming that Willock caught him around the face.
Dear oh dear. Great header.
Was it Botman or was it Voltemada? It was Botman.
Botman, yeah.
And then that piece of play there where they lost it on the near side. We were hoping to see the Willock thing again. There's no VAR today. Not that it would have mattered in a situation like that, but just felt incredibly soft and generous from the referee towards Bournemouth.
Every time a hand goes up and players goes down holding the face, they're going to give free kicks. It's frustrating.
When we get an appropriate moment, we'll catch up on some other scores. Newcastle lead 1-0. Barnes in the 50th minute. Scott back to Petrovic from halfway. Joelinton, Miley and Neve are warming up now. Sean Neve yet to make his first team debut competitively. Here, Bournemouth look for Evan Nielsen in the box, across the face of goal, tapped in for an equaliser by Alex Scott. And there's the level up from the away side. Newcastle in front for about 10 minutes. But Bournemouth, who had one disallowed, have now scored a goal that counts. Evan Nielsen rolled it across, and it was Scott there to tap in. And at St James's Park, 62 played. Newcastle United 1, AFC Bournemouth 1.
Reacted well since the goal, haven't they, Bournemouth? They've carried a threat going forward. Spread it wide. Good run. Cross shot, just comes in, back post. Nobody picks him up. Rolls it into an empty net.
Was he offside?
No.
Must have timed his run well, because obviously he was near the last defender, Scott. So 1-1, and having done the work to go in front through a really nicely conceived goal. Voltemada and Barnes. They're level again. Evan Nielsen's made a big difference in the Bournemouth attack. Good play in midfield from him there. Ramsdale comes and catches across from Soler. Newcastle try to come forwards quickly through Tonali to Trippier. He's got lots of room at this near touchline. Kieran Trippier. He's now within 25 yards of the goal, inside to Tonali. Screaming for him to shoot. He's played it short to Trippier. Lifted over to Barnes, a man of the moment. On to Hall. Hall's cross. behind at the near side. Corner on the left.
Good build-up play again. Good pick out. Corner kick on that far side. Tonali goes across it. Whip one in with his right foot.
Bournemouth continue to bring everybody back to defend set pieces. Trippier stays a bit deeper. Hall is on the edge of the area. And again, the 5 players at the back post make their move now into the middle. There's nobody back stick. Tonali's corner. It's headed over, and it was off a Newcastle player. The last touch. Headed over at the near side. It's a goal kick. Evan Nielsen was down, but he's back up. Anthony Gordon's going to come on. Jason Tyndall is shouting for Lewis Miley, I think. I'm sure we'll see Bruno at some point. As much as they would probably want to give him the afternoon off. Trippier thinks he was fouled there by Amin Adli. He's come back and put in a strong sliding challenge on the Moroccan, who was left out of their squad for the Africa Cup of Nations despite being a full international. Soler with a throw to Evan Nielsen. Back to Diakite in his own half. Gordon is ready. Miley is as well now. And Lewis Hall's trying to let this forward ball run. He's had to keep it in near to the corner flag. Ramsdale off his left foot towards halfway. Barnes wins the first header. Smith gets the second. Bournemouth with another header. Lewis Hall brings it down and comes into midfield. Sidesteps a couple of challenges. Oh, and then goes on the outside. It's terrific from Hall before his run is stopped by a foul. And Tonali's asking for a yellow card. Something we've seen him do a lot recently, Hall. Get it down, drop his shoulder and go away. Come into midfield and then go back out. Tonali behind the free kick. Goes back to Botman. We'll take a look at other scores. Maybe when Newcastle are making their changes. Miley and Gordon, which are imminent. Tonali onto Ramsey, back inside to the Italian. Now Willock, Chow to the right. Receives the ball from Willock in the Bournemouth half. Still has it close to the edge of the area. Inside to Ramsey, back to Chow. Could deliver a cross here. Voltemada wants it. No, it's rolled to Ramsey again. A good through ball to Trippier. His cross towards Wissa. Important header from Bournemouth at the back post, and Newcastle are given a corner.
Yeah, he's played well today, Ramsey. It's a good little ball in behind. Trippier dinks a little ball in. Wissa's coming in, back stick. Stick it behind, corner kick again.
Bournemouth are going to make changes as well. We're midway through the second half. It's 1-1. Tonali with the latest corner kick. Goalkeeper doesn't get there. Bit of a panic at the back from Bournemouth, but they've brought it clear on the near side, up the left wing through Brooks, but his pass into the middle is straight back to Newcastle. Hall, terrific ball onto the chest of Tonali, who took it down well. He's backpedaling. Beautiful cushion touch. Hall's got it from Ramsey. Tries to lift one in, it's blocked, and it's come to Tonali near to the corner. Back to Hall, first time delivery, deep one round the back. Johan Wissa's header onto the head of a defender. Adli to Soler and away behind Trippier for Brooks. This might be a problem. Brooks taking Bournemouth forwards towards the penalty box. Botman, terrific block as Brooks tried to square it to Evan Nielsen, but Brooks has still got it and scores. David Brooks puts Bournemouth in front. Led them up the pitch, tried to find Evan Nielsen. Botman made a great block, but Brooks got it back and curled it into the bottom corner beyond Ramsdale. Newcastle led through Barnes, but Bournemouth through Scott, and now Brooks have tipped it upside down. 69 minutes, Newcastle United 1, AFC Bournemouth 2.
Well, it looked like the chance had gone, didn't it? I mean, it was a great move. Great little ball over the top. Brooks gets away from Trippier. And it's a poor ball. Botman blocks it, and then he just cuts inside. Least favourite foot. He curls it into the bottom left-hand corner.
Johan Wissa is coming off, replaced by Anthony Gordon. Joe Linton is also going to come on here. It's going to be a triple change. Miley replaces Trippier and will surely go to right back. Trippier's giving the captain's armband to Joe Willock, which I think is a nice touch after some of the things Willock's gone through recently, but he wants to give it to somebody else by the looks of things. He's coming off actually to be replaced by Joe Linton. Maybe that's why. So Gordon for Wissa, Miley for Trippier, Joe Linton for Willock. Triple change. They're 2-1 down. They've got to come from behind like they did the other night. It's never straightforward, is it?
No, very rarely. Very rarely.
We've lost Livramento to injury as well. Can still go to the bench again if they want to bring the skipper on and make any further changes. Free kick, Gordon fouled. Barnes has to come over to the right, Gordon is on the left. Bournemouth are going to make their changes shortly. 20 minutes to play. If it's level after 90, it's 30 minutes extra time here on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Trying to avoid going out in the third round under Eddie Howe for the third time in 5 seasons.
Don't want extra time. Most definitely don't want extra time.
They just want to win in 90 minutes, which they can still do, or win in 102 minutes like they did against Leeds. Only gone beyond round 4 3 times in the last 20 seasons. But obviously a lot of that was under the ownership of Mike Ashley, where they were a championship club twice, and cups were not considered a priority. Now they have reached a quarter-final and round 5 in each of the last 2 years, but obviously longer term the FA Cup has not brought them much joy. And today, a much changed team found a way to get in front. Now has to find a way to get back in it. Hall with the free kick up the line to Gordon. Hall carries on his run, but Gordon gets away from his man. Good burst of speed from Gordon, and now across. Botman header, and then Chow with a header, and Miley nods on. Voltemada. Bournemouth, it's head tennis in the box. Joe Linton gets his head to it. Voltemada plays it back to Barnes. He scoops it in. Joe Linton climbed, couldn't get there. Tonali takes it down well and has a try from 20 yards, but it's over the top.
Yeah, wrong choice, wasn't it? Great take, though. Took it really well. Big height advantage now as well.
Right, here are some other scores. Burnley 4, Millwall 0. Doncaster have pulled it back to an extent against Southampton. Doncaster 2, Southampton 3. Fulham 1, Middlesbrough 1. Man City 6-0 up against Exeter. Brentford are leading 2-0 at Sheffield Wednesday. Tavernier on for Bournemouth in one of Andoni Iraola's substitutions. He's come on to the left side. Replacing Amin Adli, and David Brooks has also gone off. Alex Jimenez on loan from AC Milan. He's the other Bournemouth player introduced. He's a right back or right wing back. Tavernier up the near side. Clips it into the middle.
Tell you what, it's not the worst ball in the world, is it?
Didn't have a lot of power, but it went into a dangerous area. Ramsdale picks it up, rolls it out to Hall. Gordon inside, it's away from Newcastle midfielders. Tavernier's got it. Joe Linton wins it back with an important challenge. Miley to Joe Linton, and now Tonali for Ramsey. They're in the Bournemouth half, and it's up the line from Hall to Gordon, who spins away from his man again. Gordon into the area. Wants a corner, but it's a goal.
Crowder will want the penalty.
When the contact came in, it was Lewis Cook, wasn't it?
Yeah.
On Gordon, but
they thought he's going to go down, penalty.
Don't know if there was anything in that really.
No.
But he stayed on his feet, Gordon. Minutes of normal time to play. Bruno warms up. Eddie Howe having made 4 changes. Still hasn't called on the captain. 7-0 to Manchester City against Exeter. Petrovic outside the penalty box from a back pass. Lewis Miley leaps, heads it out, can't keep it in. Evan Nielsen back to Soler on his chest. Diakite to Petrovic. United push up. Voltemada gets close to the keeper. Miley with another header, getting above Tavernier, but out it goes. Bournemouth taking as long as they can over everything now, having gone into the lead, as teams do. Botman with a header away from a forward ball. Ramsey makes a good challenge, then Ramsey gets away, and then still goes beyond another challenge, Ramsey, and is pulled down by Soler, who gets a yellow card. It's probably been their best player today, Jacob Ramsey.
He's been excellent in there, hasn't he? He's been strong, aggressive. He's been direct as well, looking to get the ball forward whenever he can. Strong running as well.
Tonali to Miley, and then back again. Wasn't much space for Miley from the pass. Barnes on the touchline, plays it back 5 yards to Lewis Miley. Jacob Ramsey. Scott made a challenge from behind. Ramsey stayed down, nothing was given. It's out for a Bournemouth throw. Ramsey seems to be holding his ankle. He's up and back in the game, back in Newcastle's midfield. They trail by 2-1. Bournemouth turning it around in the second half. Barnes on 50 for United to go in front. Scott on 62, Brooks on 68. We're now in minute 77. Petrovic, header from Chow. Joelinton, header back to Ramsdale. It's a good throw, long throw to Hall. Tried to come inside. Tackle came in. Newcastle have the ball back. Ramsdale sends it high into the Bournemouth half. Diakite's header straight to Barnes. Not the best from the centre-back. Barnes now, surrounded by blue shirts, is forced out wide. Plays it to Miley, and they stay on the attack. Ramsey to Miley. Fulham have come back to lead against Middlesbrough 2-1. Botman towards Ramsey. Soler gets up and nods it out. Second ball on the pitch. Miley now preparing to take the throw about 30 yards from the goal. Bruno still warming up. Tonali tried to come away from Krupi. Bournemouth want the throw. Newcastle get the decision though. It's left for Lewis Miley by Sandro Tonali. There's no movement really. Joelinton makes a run to the near side and fires it back to Chow on halfway. Bruno looking at the bench. He's eager to come on. Ball to Gordon, and it's gone out. Trying to give Smith the slip, but the ball beat him. And And they're going to have to do it late again, Newcastle, but they will have the chance to do it with the captain, because Bruno Guimaraes is about to be introduced. Gordon's won it back from a Bournemouth throw for Voltemade. And Tonali, centre of the attacking half, wide to Barnes. Back to Miley. Barnes again, Ramsey starts to go up the line. Barnes is nudged over by Soler. And Jacob Ramsey is coming off. Going to leave Tonali on. Ramsey
played well today, him.
Gets plenty of appreciation, but no one gets quite the love that this man gets. Bruno Guimaraes. Joe Linton gives him the armband. Good to see Ramsey having such a good game. Tonali with a free kick. 30 yards from the goal, on the right. Curls the ball in, it's a good one. Botman looks for it. That was into a great area, but Botman, I don't think he got much on the ball, if anything.
It's going to be some header from there, though, to beat the goalkeeper. Good ball played into an area. I think he got something on it. And it came off Chow at the back post.
Botman back in the Newcastle half, beats Evan Nielsen in the air. Miley to Joe Linton. He's played it against Krupi and Tavernier now. Gets his head down and starts to run. Joe Linton in pursuit. Tavernier into the box. Cuts it back. Tonali intercepts. Miley started to come out wide. He turns back inside. They haven't cleared it yet, Newcastle. Miley up the line. Bournemouth back into the middle though. Bruno. That's a good challenge by Bruno. Shoulder to shoulder with Jimenez. Gordon inside away from Smith, then back out to Hall. Smith comes back. Hall, edge of the area, fouled right on the line. Lewis Hall, and a yellow card is shown to Scott.
Free kick, decent position.
And I think there will be plenty of players putting their hands up to take this. It's on the line of the box. It's left of centre. Gordon, Hall and Tonali, they're in the conversation, in the running to take it. With Bournemouth leading 2-1 in the final 10 minutes. Now the final 9 minutes. They need an equaliser. They need another late goal, at least one, which would force extra time to be played at the end of the 90. Can't remember the last time they scored a direct free kick. Let's see what happens here. Gordon looks like he might just nudge it to Tonali. Miley's more central if they want to play it across. Bournemouth have a player lying down behind the wall. Gordon or Tonali. Anthony Gordon steps up, straight at the keeper. Centre of the goal, low down.
I'd see when I see Tonali hit that, you know.
Running behind, Krupi, edge of the area. Ramsdale
did
good
well.
Positioning. His positioning for picking up things like that, for sweeping up, is very good. And he headed it away. And Barnes now wins a throw from Diakite. Bournemouth, another change coming. Adrien Truffert, the left back they signed to replace Milos Kerkez in the summer, is coming on.
Not surprised they're taking him off because he's been booed and he's been...
Julio Soler leaves the pitch. Straight swap. 8-0 to Manchester City, who are coming here on Tuesday in the first leg of the League Cup semi-final. They're going to be in the next round of the FA Cup, but will Newcastle United? They need a goal to level this tie. 2-1 to Bournemouth. Chow towards Voltemade, can't hold it. Forwards from Diakite. And Bournemouth, they're not sitting on 2-1, they're trying to make it 3-1. And they get numbers forwards every time they can. There's a pull on Lewis Hall and a free kick awarded out on the far side in the midfield area. 7 minutes of normal time to play. Tenali, Barnes trying to go in behind. Voltemada, nice flick to Bruno. Barnes had run offside and they get it instead square to Miley on the near touchline. Into Bruno. Tenali available. Back to Bruno first time. Sticks in a cross. Joelinton heads over. Goalkeeper came and was off his line. Joelinton got plenty of contact. Maybe he just needed a little flick and just to glance it like he did against Leeds. Good pick out from Bruno, but Joelinton got right underneath it and looped it over the top.
Got too much on it, didn't he? Got too much contact on it. Decent ball played into a good area.
Chow heads it up and into the Bournemouth half. Miley wins a throw, gets it straight back from Tenali, and then plays it towards Chow. Evan Nielsen slid in and put it straight out. If Evan Nielsen hadn't gone sliding and diving in, if he'd stayed on his feet, he might well have had the ball in play. Now there are 2 balls on the pitch again, and Krupi attempted to put the second one out, but deliberately didn't put enough power in it, and that's why the fans were getting annoyed there. Newcastle take the throw eventually, and Hill forwards for Bournemouth, who've got it back. Header on by Krupi. Chow on the edge of the box. BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sounds app. Hall on the outside. Now Joelinton using his size well. On for Tenali, back to Bruno. Swept forwards to Barnes. Truffaut comes across. Barnes plays it into the centre, looking for Voltemada, who takes a touch. It's away by Diakite and headed back to the goalkeeper. That's well played.
Yeah, that was cool, wasn't it?
Petrovic looking for Evan Nielsen, beaten in the air by Chow. Cook's header. I think he was the player that nodded it back to Petrovic. Lewis Cook, the midfielder. Truffaut. And now Diakite forwards as far as Tavernier. Bruno's got it. Tavernier's dragged him down. Doesn't give the ball back. Had hands on his shirt. Bruno goes down, but he gets a yellow card for delaying the restart. Marcus Tavernier. Newcastle are trailing 2-1. Gordon to run at Smith again. He's had some joy since coming on that far side. Cuts inside this time. His cross was towards Voltemada, but the defender in front headed it clear. Out for a throw, which Hall takes back to Gordon. And Gordon to Hall and back again. Now Botman. Time slipping away from Newcastle United. Miley to Chow. And now they're back with Ramsdale. He's 10 yards up from the box. Botman to the feet of Gordon. Slipped near to halfway. Bournemouth send it forwards, and then they've given it straight to Bruno. On to Tenali. And now Joelinton. Barnes makes a run through the middle. He's gone offside. Joelinton still carrying it. And manages to find Lewis Hall in the penalty area. Hall blocked. Bournemouth head it away as far as Bruno. It's over the top. Was there a touch?
Nope.
No. Bruno, I think, seemed to complain to the referee. They got Lewis Hall into a great position, and he played across straight onto the head of the defender on the corner of the 6-yard box. It's now a goal kick for Bournemouth after Bruno's effort went over. 2.5 minutes remaining, plus whatever is added. Tavernier heads on away from Chow. Newcastle have it back. It's Chow sending it forwards. Voltemada heads on, but nobody had gone beyond. Driven ball forwards by James Hill. Caught by Aaron Ramsdale. He's frustrated with what he sees as a lack of options. Botman now to Bruno. He doesn't have much on, and he got tripped anyway by Cook. Forwards to Joelinton from a quickly taken free kick, just behind halfway. Square to Tenali. Back to Bruno. Barnes pulling into space, near side. Floated out onto the chest of Barnes by Bruno. Into Miley. Has to go back to Chow. A minute and a half, just about, is all they have left in the 90 minutes. 2-1 down. Hall for Gordon. Back to Hall. Good link up. Hall still got it. Here's Miley. As much as they've given away late goals this season, they have scored a few. Can they get another? Joelinton on his chest. Gordon! Good save, spilled, and offside on the follow-up. Harvey Barnes. Gordon hit it towards the bottom left corner. Petrovic made the save and spilled it, and then Barnes followed up, managed to roll it over the line. It took an age to go in, but the flag was up quickly on the near side from Eddie Smart.
Yeah,
Barnes
he is offside.
Clearly offside.
Oh, dear, oh dear.
9-0 to Manchester City against Exeter. Newcastle. They've needed to go to the bench. They're going to need probably whatever is added on to try to stay in the FA Cup. And a winning run might stop at 3 matches. Chow's header. Bruno chests it. There's an offside, but Newcastle have got it, so play on. Bruno to Tonali. It's worked well, and that's a really good ball from Tonali to Joelinton, left of central midfield. Now Anthony Gordon. They need something here, they really do. Bruno's played it straight to Tavernier at the edge of the box. That's definitely not what they need. Tavernier on 6 minutes minimum added time. Joelinton getting back to make a really important interception at the edge of the area. Late winners against Leeds and twice against Fulham this season, Newcastle, in the league and in the League Cup. They lose it there in the middle of their half, but Bournemouth with a shot from Krupi that goes behind. Goal kick. 25 seconds gone in the added on time. Krupi's gone down. His manager's trying to tell him to get up, but he's got his back to him. Newcastle play on. They're not going to wait for Krupi. Gordon running at Smith. The cross. Petrovic can't get there. Barnes back in. Oh, Barnes across the face of goal and behind.
Got too much on it. The first cross just took the keeper out of it. I mean, he's gets himself in no man's land.
Goal kick. 60 seconds gone in added on time. And Bournemouth slowing the game down. They have a 2-1 lead to protect. Miley's header. And Diakite for Bournemouth, out it goes. Botman. Hall just behind halfway to Gordon, who comes inside with it, then turns and goes back outside, then inside. Just ahead of halfway, Anthony Gordon, up towards Voltamana, they've let it run. Sandro Tonali around the keeper and down, surely. A penalty is awarded. Tonali taken down by Petrovic. The through ball ran for the Italian, who clipped it past the keeper and looked like he was about to roll it in. Down went Tonali, and the referee reaches to his pocket and shows a yellow card to Georgi Petrovic for the challenge. There were 2 covering defenders. What do you think? You're watching it again. Do you think there's no foul there? Is that what you think? Tell me what you're saying,
Always given, isn't it? Always given. Waits for the keeper to come.
The contact is from the legs of Petrovic. He's shifted himself to his left. Tonali's gone the other way and has gone down. There's no VAR. So the on-field decision stands, and they've got a penalty, a late penalty, just like they had against Leeds the other night, but this one's a couple of minutes later, when in the 93rd, and in fact now 94th minute, Bruno took it and scored the other night, but Anthony Gordon had been substituted at that point, and he is the penalty taker ahead of Voltemada as well. So Gordon has the ball, and we would expect him to be the man to take responsibility as Tonali receives some treatment and is helped up. And it is going to be Anthony Gordon at the Gallagher end. He's taken some big penalties this season. I don't think there have been any as late as this. On BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds, we're almost into the 95th minute. About 2 minutes has passed, it seems, since the penalty was awarded for the foul on Tonali. Anthony Gordon, basically to keep Newcastle United in the FA Cup and take this to extra time. Waiting for the whistle. Anthony Gordon. Well, there's a problem. The assistant referees come running along the line, the goal line. Now they're happy. Petrovic jumping up and down on the spot. Gordon scores! Squeezing it into the bottom left corner, despite the dive of this 6'4" goalkeeper who got close, but Gordon, his record from penalties is very good. A lot of pressure on his shoulders there, but he makes no mistake for his 8th of the season, and they have rescued the situation. Another late Newcastle goal. It's 2-2 now in the 96th minute, and we may be heading to 30 minutes extra time, Ando.
Yeah, it's looking that way, isn't it? Going into the last minute. Obviously there'll be a couple more minutes added on, but it looks like we're going to go to extra time.
It's at the edge of Newcastle's penalty area. Hang on, Krupi goes on the outside, back inside. There's one turn too many from Eli Junior Krupi, and he's rolling around. He spent so much time on the floor today. Here's Tonali chasing a forward ball up the right wing. He got the last touch. He put everything into that, and he's so frustrated that he didn't get the throw. Bournemouth are trying to take it from about 10 yards up the touchline, and Thomas Bramall sends them back. Tonali there making a challenge, and Barnes has got it back. Maybe they won't need extra time. And beyond Newcastle, Bruno, Lewis Hall in the penalty area. Hall blocked.
Great block.
Surely Lightning's not going to strike twice at St James's Park with a late winner. Bournemouth in midfield. Cook up to halfway, chased by Voltemada. And now to Tavernier in the 97th minute. We're beyond the 6 minutes that were added. Cook in the D, stopped by Bruno. It's come out to Scott just over the bar. Did Ramsdale get a touch? No, they say. Despite appeals for a corner, Bournemouth don't get the decision. And it remains 2-2. And we may be sticking around for another half an hour, which, as you said earlier, Ando, is second only to getting knocked out. Is
it's not ideal, is it?
Bottom of their list of things that they would like today.
Yeah, definitely not ideal.
Ramsdale forwards, 98th minute now, 2-2. Diakite's header, Krupi, and then Jimenez straight to Bruno. One last opportunity. Gordon chasing a ball into the corner. Gordon is down on the line near to the corner flag after colliding with Hill, but it's goal kick only, and Gordon, to be fair, gets up, didn't make anything of that. We are going to get all of the scores at the end of the game. Manchester City are into double figures against Exeter. I think it's 10-1. Colin White will be along on BBC Radio Newcastle in a second. We are going to have 30 minutes of extra time and possibly penalties at St James's Park, because it's finished 2-2 between Newcastle United and Bournemouth. All of the goals in the second half. Barnes on 50 gave them the lead. Scott equalised on 62, and then Brooks 6 minutes later turned it around. They needed an injury time penalty when Tonali was fouled, put away by Gordon in the 95th minute to keep their FA Cup hopes alive and prevent elimination, at least for now. Who knows what will happen and what drama will unfold in extra time and maybe penalties. Anthony Gordon saving Newcastle today. Another late goal. It's finished after 90 minutes at St James's Park, 2-2. Let's get the other scores from around the country now with all the details. Here's Colin White ahead of extra time getting underway.
Thank you very much, Razor. We'll be back with Razor and Andy very shortly. Of course we will. Right then, the other full-time scores from the 3 o'clock games. Burton Albion have won 5-0 at Boreham Wood. Karen Lofthouse, formerly of Gateshead, getting the first of their 5. Keen Adom, who they've just signed from Gateshead, started that game as well. Burnley also scored 5. They beat Millwall 5-1. It was 5-0 in the 94th minute as well. Millwall getting a consolation. There were 5 goals between Doncaster and Southampton. Doncaster mounted a comeback, but Southampton held on to win it 3-2. Fulham came from behind. They were 1-0 down at home to Middlesbrough at half-time, but beat them 3-1. Ipswich and Blackpool are still playing at Portman Road. Ashley Fletcher's 96th minute penalty has given Blackpool a chance. They're into the 9th minute of injury time. Manchester City 10, Exeter City 1 is a full-time score. It was 10-0 until the 90th minute. Various different goal scorers, 2 separate own goals in the space of 4 minutes at the end of the first half as well. But Manchester City putting 10 past Exeter this afternoon. Brentford have won 2-0 at Sheffield Wednesday. Keane Lewis Potter in the first half, Jensen with a penalty in the second. Stoke have beaten Coventry as well. That was an 88th minute winner. There were 4 early games too. Leicester City won 2-0 at League 2 Cheltenham. Macclesfield 117 places below Crystal Palace. The holders in the Football League pyramid beat them by 2-1. Paul Dawson in the first half, Isaac Buckley-Ricketts in the second. It was a consolation for Crystal Palace in the last minute. Wolves put 6 past Shrewsbury. They scored a couple early on. Jørgen Strand Larsen ending up with 3, and Sunderland won the first of our penalty shootouts on BBC Radio Newcastle earlier on today. They drew 1-1 at Everton, a Joe Garner penalty in the last minute, took that to extra time. Sounds quite familiar, that one, a late penalty taking it to extra time. There were no goals in the additional 30 minutes, and then Sunderland won the penalty shootout 3-0 because Robin Roofs saved all 3 penalties that came his way. Sunderland scored all 3 of theirs, the winner coming from Luke O'Nien making his first start of the season. Everton out, Sunderland through on penalties. There are more games to come today and tomorrow. 4 games kick off at 5:45. The final game tonight is Charlton against Chelsea. Right then, we are about to return for at least another 30 minutes of football here at St James's Park. In just a moment, we will head back and join Matthew Raisbeck and John Anderson.
On BBC iPlayer,
we could end the conflict between our species before it's too late.
Me? If we have to escalate the war between us, we will.
You have to stop!
The war between the land and the sea.
Today's the day we start.
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Total Sport North East.
The FA Cup.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
2-2 at St James's Park, which means 30 minutes extra time and maybe a penalty shootout. It's a season that's had all sorts of drama and different results and various milestones, and now they go into extra time against Bournemouth thanks to a penalty from Anthony Gordon in the 95th minute. They're having another coin toss, which Bruno seems to have won. FA Cup replays from the first round onwards were scrapped from last season, so ties must now be settled on the day.
Thank God for that.
I don't know where they would play an FA Cup replay against Bournemouth. Now, part of the reason was the additional Champions League and Europa League games, which are now 8 rather than 6, and because they continue into the league phases into January. Some of the midweek slots are filled, so no space for a replay, but yeah, they've gone anyway. Newcastle lining up against Bournemouth, and it's the away side who get it started. United shooting up to the Leazes end, and no further changes, but obviously more can be made, and do an additional one in make an additional substitution in extra time. Ramsdale, Miley, Chow, Botman, Hall, Bruno, Tanali, Joelinton, Barnes, Gordon, Voltemade. Bournemouth throw on the left from the kick-off after it was headed out. Here's Joelinton heading away straight to the edge of the area. Now Bournemouth win a corner kick, and they made a change just before extra time. Bournemouth, they brought on centre-back Marcos Senesi for Eli Junior Krupi, and Senesi won the corner. He's taken off a forward player and brought a centre-back on. Second minute of the first half of extra time. It's on the Bournemouth left on a right-footed delivery.
Oh, straight into the keeper's hands.
For Bournemouth anywhere near it. Ramsdale, centre of the goal, grabs hold of it and rolls it out quickly to Anthony Gordon, who will certainly give them energy and fairly fresh legs as well, having come on quite late in the match. They wanted to give Bruno a break, and he's going to end up playing probably about 45 minutes of football or so. Here he plays the ball out to Gordon. Oh, it's a crossfield pass from Gordon that was ahead of Chow and behind Tanali. Tavernier on to Evan Nielsen. Ramsdale comes out.
Off the line.
Off the line by Sven Botman, with Ramsdale beaten as Evan Nielsen took it wide and around the keeper. Found a gap to squeeze it in.
What's Gordon doing?
And thankfully Sven Botman got back to be the Newcastle hero, clearing it off the line. Voltemade, that's a good ball into the path of Barnes. They are now beyond halfway. Tanali to Miley. Bruno for Botman. And Gordon now with Smith right there. Gordon plays a no-risk ball back to Botman. And now the Dutch defender gets it again from the goalkeeper. Joelinton into Bruno, who is nudged to the floor by Cook. And the whistle's gone. But the free kick's been taken too quickly. And Cook might need some medical attention anyway, sitting down. Referees had a look and had a word, and there's no need for the medical staff. Newcastle get the game restarted. Voltemade and Bruno. He's looked sharp since coming on, the skipper. Wide to Miley, now close to the edge of the area. Bruno again, just inside the box. Plays it to Tanali. Miley wide to Tanali, and it's got away from him, and perhaps fatigue for a player who has looked fatigued for a while and had the arrival of a baby a couple of days ago. Could be setting in. Senesi away for Bournemouth, header on by Evan Nielsen, but out. Newcastle throw next to the halfway line. Miley back to Chow. Still time to play, Ando, but after an unexpectedly awful first half for him against Leeds, Malik Chow's looked more like Malik Chow today.
Yeah, he's well, to say he looks a lot better would be an understatement. That 45 minutes he had,
there's his ball,
was
onto Bruno,
very uncharacteristic, no doubt about that. It wasn't one that we've come to expect, but he's looked better today.
Yellow card for Cook for the challenge on Bruno, fouled after Chow played it up to him just ahead of halfway, and now Chow goes on up the pitch towards edge of the penalty box. Bournemouth defensive line is in front of the D. This is the 6th minute of extra time. 2-2. Tenali with the free kick. Barnes is wide, but now moves into the middle. The ball goes into the centre of the box. It's a Bournemouth header, and Jimenez got the second ball, and then it's out off Scott for a United throw, quickly taken by Gordon to Hall. Inside to the skipper. Bruno gets turned. Back to Gordon. Shifts it onto his right. He's lost it. Bruno slides in to win it back, and Gordon's got it again. And protects it here, gives it short to Tenali, onto Botman, flicks it out to the far side to Barnes, lifted in, Voltemada just couldn't get it. Hall edge of the area, onto Joelinton, no offside flag. Joelinton back to Gordon. They're queuing up at the far post. They can't find room for a cross, Newcastle. Joelinton on this left wing, heads for the line, gets away from Hill. Low ball cleared in the 6-yard box, rolled along the floor and cleared by Diakite. Miley's come across. Oh, he's done superbly well to win it and produce a pass for Hall, who just keeps going. Lewis Hall stings cross, back post, and it's over the top. It was Botman who climbed. He's had a couple of those, Sven Botman, where he's been the player on the end of crosses. It was a difficult ball. It looked like it was heading out, actually. Got up back post.
Tight angle to score from. Hall does great again, doesn't he?
Chow's header. And Chow is down. Alex Murphy sent to warm up straight away. Malik Chow on his front, flat on the deck. Yep, they need the medical team on. Surely not another defensive injury. It was an aerial challenge, and Chow needs some treatment. He's going to have to go off here, hopefully just for 30 seconds. 7 minutes of the first half of extra time played here on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Alex Murphy had to come on in a tight game, the League Cup quarter-final against Fulham. Played for about 20 minutes or so, including additional time. Came into a big game. Might have to do the same again here if Malik Chow is not okay.
It doesn't look great, does it?
Doesn't look good at all. Now they are taking their time and taking care over Chow, who is lying on his front. I'm not quite sure where the problem is. They are at the top end of his body. There's no stretcher yet, but we'll just have to wait. Chow's now rolled over and is on his back. Newcastle United 2, AFC Bournemouth 2. Gordon's 95th minute penalty taking it to extra time. Earlier Sunderland conceded from a 90th minute penalty at Everton, took that tie to extra time. Sunderland won the shootout 3-0. When we get the conclusion here at St James's Park, we'll have some Newcastle United discussion and some more reaction to Sunderland's FA Cup victory. They are in the draw on Monday for round 4. Newcastle hoping to join them. It was 2 years ago at this stage that they played each other on Weir side. Chow is sitting up. And Jason Tyndall are patrolling the technical area. Andoni Iraola is out for Bournemouth, having a word with the 4th official. Malik Chow's up. Alex Murphy is looking at the situation. He was ready, stripped and ready at Burnley, Murphy, when Lewis Hall had an injury, but then they decided to cancel the substitution. Just worry about that being concussion. Chow looks a bit groggy and he's rubbing his head on his way off the pitch over to the near side. The doctor and the physio are with him.
Looks all right.
He's got a water bottle, and Eddie Howe's come for a word.
It's all right.
there's some blood, so they are getting him a new shirt with Chow 12 on the back. He's putting that on off the pitch as Newcastle send a free kick forwards from Ramsdale. Bournemouth header away. Tanali's dropped in to defensive position. Comes and gets it off Ramsdale. Chow will be coming back on. Ramsdale to Barnes, who heads it on and out on the far side. Chow returns to the pitch. 11v11 again. Not a great deal of football, John Anderson, in this first half of extra time. But here's Bruno from Gordon's pass, and a header across the box from Bruno. Nice idea, but there was nobody else up in the attack. Gordon would have been there probably, but he had moved in to get on the ball and lift it over for Bruno, and it's now on halfway with Tanali. 2-2.
Yeah, you always find it extra time's usually cagey, isn't it? Neither side wants to give anything away.
Bruno to Voltemada. That's a nice ball with his left across midfield to Hall. And he clips it out to Barnes, now on the right wing, remember, after Gordon's introduction. Barnes inside for Joelinton, back out wide for Miley. And now Bruno, corner of the area. Bruno's cross, Tanali goes for it. And just couldn't connect with the ball.
It's good defending. Smith does great. He just gives Tanali a little nudge. It's a super ball played in as well. But Smith sees the danger. Oh, stands big and strong.
Cook to Traffair, and Bournemouth on their way towards the halfway line. Now with Scott in the centre circle.
2020. So the bad times are recent, and this is a real rise and rise under Rob Smethurst, and we must give Robbie Savage, our friend, a mention as well for his part in that. But I was speaking today to the Macclesfield commentator who has done it for years and years and years, so he saw the fall, and he was telling me at that time it felt like they had no friends, and now it must feel like everyone wants to be the friend of Macclesfield. But you're absolutely right, Steve. You know, above everything else, thoughts and memories with Ethan McLeod, the young forward, 21 years old, who was killed in that car crash last month on the way back from a match at Bedford Town. 21 years old, scored for Macclesfield in this cup run, in their first match, in the second qualifying round. And yet, that was December the 16th, and this is only January the 10th. And John Rooney yesterday was talking of how the team bus was held up on the M1 because of that accident. And of course, they only found out later. And how John Rooney made the decision to ring around all of the members of the squad and tell them that news. You know, that is really a matter of days ago. And then together, they've done this today, this achievement on the football field. Honestly, it is... You can't put it into words.
I think you not being able to find a word there sums it up perfectly, John. Thank you very much. That's correspondent John Murray at Moss Rose. Match of the day tonight, BBC One 10:40. Rob Green is part of the team. He's with us. Hey, Rob.
Evening, Steve.
That's unbeatable, that, isn't it?
Oh, some story, isn't it? The story of the FA Cup, isn't it? It's one that, you know, in my lifetime, I don't think I'll ever see that again.
It's just a competition you can never underestimate, ever. It doesn't matter how big the gap gets between Premier League and Championship, let alone Premier League and National League North. It will always produce.
It's just an incredible thing where you think the opportunity for that to come around doesn't happen at all. Seemingly mathematically, it seems impossible just for that opportunity to come about, let alone, and then be able to capitalise and put a performance in like that was just wonderful. It's been an incredible story for a club that's been through so much, as John was talking about then.
Let's get some reaction to Burnley's big victory over Millwall. Head coach Scott Parker live on Sports Report with Julia Bold.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. First of all, congratulations. A convincing win. I know you made 9 changes, and beforehand you'd said as well that it wasn't necessarily the priority, but you must be delighted today.
I'm really delighted. Yeah, I'm delighted overall, really, with the win. I think that's first and foremost, no denying that we've been searching for a win as a group for some time now. So I think that was the main priority, to win the game today, which we accomplished. I think generally our overall performance today was superb, really. Our general application to the game was top. I've seen it over many years in the FA Cup, and certainly we've probably already seen it this weekend, that these can be tricky games, and you need to apply yourself in the right way to give yourself a platform and earn the right to show your quality. And I thought we did that really in general today, which pleased me a lot.
Ashley Barnes up front, 36 years of age, almost had the perfect hat-trick as well today. But how much did he lead the line?
Well, I think he led the line incredibly well today, and I think Ash has led by example all this year, really, in a tough time, has brought his experience, that calm head, that sounding board for this young group. And I was really, really pleased. I think everyone in the stadium, including myself, subs, everyone was willing the hat-trick. So pleased that he got 2 goals today, and I thought generally his general play was very good.
Have some of the players today given you some thoughts for the Premier League now? Have they really shown you what they can do and step up?
Well, for sure they have. Look, there's different levels. And
বসুন্ধরা টিস্যু শুদ্ধতার সাথে আপনাদের পাশে আছে বছরের পর বছর। আপনাদের ভালোবাসায় টানা 3য়বার অর্জন করেছে দেশের সেরা সুপার ব্র্যান্ড স্বীকৃতি। বসুন্ধরা টিস্যুর পাশে থাকার জন্য আপনাদের ধন্যবাদ।
The work they've done to prepare themselves to come into this team, really. So, yeah, for sure there was some standout performances today, and I thought, but as a team we was very good. And to be honest, we showed some real quality, really, and showed the difference in qualities at times. And that's no disrespect for a very good Millwall side, but we was probably just a bit too superior today at times.
Well, it was 5-1 into round 4. Congratulations. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Scott Parker, Burnley manager, live on Sports Report there with Julia Bold after Burnley 5, Millwall 1. Actually, in the 3 o'clock games, every Premier League team facing lower division opposition won. Rob, whilst I've got you, I've got to ask you about Robin Roofs, the Sunderland goalkeeper. That's the goalkeeper equivalent of a perfect hat-trick.
Yes,
3 penalties in a shootout and saving them all.
Well, it was amazing because it was going on at the same time as obviously Macclesfield, and it was barely getting a flicker, was it? So it was something that you look at the 3 penalties, and he'd already let one in the game. So he's facing James Garner for a second time. But then I'd never felt so confident as a keeper saving so many penalties, and so unconfident, if that's a word, in the takers. It was just remarkable. You're stepping up going, I don't see any other alternative than him saving this. And he did. And it was just the perfect penalty shootout for a keeper.
Cheers, Rob. Have a good one later. Top man, Rob Green there, who'll be on Match of the Day tonight, BBC One from 10:40. That's the only shootout that we've had in the FA Cup so far today, although we might be heading for another one at St James's Park. Katie Smith.
Yeah, less than 15 minutes away now. Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 2. The game's lost a little bit of pace since we've gone into extra time, not helped by a stoppage for a knocked in Malik Chiao. He had a bit of blood on his shirt, had to change that. I guess a reminder that Eddie Howe really wouldn't have wanted this outcome today. He's lost a couple of centre-backs already. They've got a massive game coming up on Tuesday in the League Cup as well. Their semi-final. Botman has headed over the bar in stoppage time. Jimenez as well with a good chance for Bournemouth. Still level at 2-2.
It feels like Macclesfield sort of just got all of the FA Cup magic out of the way in one glorious 90 minutes, because no shocks elsewhere. Middlesbrough of the Championship probably came the closest to causing another one at Fulham. They lost 3-1, Ian Dennis, but that doesn't really tell the story.
It doesn't, no. Fulham required reinforcements to change this cup tie. Substitute Harry Wilson inspired the Premier League team to come from behind and into round 4. It was his low curling shot that equalised on the hour. Smith Rowe turned and fired Fulham ahead after 77 minutes, and then Wilson with an outrageous cross with the outside of his left boot set up Kevin in injury time for his first goal for the club. However, that scoreline harsh on Middlesbrough, who acquitted themselves very well and contributed to an entertaining cup tie. Hayden Hackney finished a well-worked move down the right-hand side to give them a 30th minute lead, and they had other chances as well. Whittaker across the face of goal in the second half. Conway rattled the crossbar, and Whittaker really should have made it 2-2 with about 11 minutes remaining. As it remains, 1957, the last time that Middlesbrough won an away FA Cup tie in the capital.
So no upset there at Craven Cottage. Let's hear from one of the Fulham goal scorers. Here's Emil Smith-Rowe with George Cummins.
Borough made you work for that, didn't they?
Yeah, tough team, man. Tough team, you know. We know they're doing really well in the Championship. You know, they're fighting to get promoted, so we knew it was going to be a tough test today, and they showed it. But yeah, I was happy to get the win in the end.
Into next round, what did you make of the team's performance in the second half? It was you feel like the team brought on the big guns, and then you really delivered, didn't you?
Yeah, unbelievable, man. He's on fire. Can't speak highly enough of him. You know, I see it every day in training, so it's not a surprise to see it on match day. But yeah, man, hopefully he keeps going.
I mean, let's start with his goal. I mean, that's just a lovely finish, isn't it?
Yeah, the trademark. To be fair, that's his sort of goal. So yeah, I'm buzzing for him, man. He deserves it.
What was better, his goal or his cross for the third?
Yeah, good question, man. I'll probably say the assist, actually, man. That was unbelievable outside of the foot, but you know, we've seen him do that so many times, and I think he even scored a goal like that recently, so yeah, I'm so happy for him.
Just a word on your form, 5 goals in 25 games. How do you think you're playing at the moment?
Yeah, I'm confident. Definitely want to keep adding goals and assists to my game. But yeah, it's been a tough couple of weeks. Playing a lot of minutes, playing a lot of games, so just got to rest up and keep going.
Do you fancy a little cup run this season? I can't believe Fulham have never won the FA Cup. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, to be fair, but yeah, of course, you know, it's important for the fans, you know, get a good run going, and yeah, hopefully we just take each game as it comes, and yeah, we'll build on that.
Fulham's Emil Smith-Rowe with George Cummins. Absolute walk in the park for Manchester City today against League One Exeter City. Lee Blakeman.
The most emphatic of FA Cup wins. Manchester City 10, Exeter City 1, the joint biggest win in Manchester City's history. There were debut goals for Antoine Semenyo and 17-year-old Ryan McAdoo. Rico Lewis scored twice. Max Allain got his first senior goal for the club too. The others were from Rodri, Reinders and O'Reilly, with 2 own goals thrown in there as well. George Birch it was who got a worldie of a goal for the Exeter City consolation. Manchester City won by the same scoreline nearly 100 years ago in the FA Cup in a 4th round replay against Swindon in January 1930, and they also beat Huddersfield 10-1 in the league back in 1987. Today, in 2026, it's ended Manchester City 10, Exeter City 1.
Just a bit shy of the FA Cup record, which remains Preston North End 26, Hyde FC 0. We nearly had a dramatic comeback at Doncaster Rovers in the FA Cup today, but not quite. Andy Giddings.
Yeah, not quite. It was almost the perfect comeback. It finished Doncaster Rovers 2, Southampton 3, but Southampton's Bayern Munich goalkeeper Daniel Peretz on his debut twice denied 39-year-old Billy Sharp in second half stoppage time to avoid this one going to extra time. Prior to all of that, Southampton dominated the first half. Cameron's Bragg and Archer and Kairu Matsuki got the goals from close range. Rovers, though, earned the opportunity of all of that late drama thanks to Matty Pearson's header early in the second half and Jordan Gibson's low drive from 15 yards. However, that's a 6th straight place in round 4 for Southampton, but only just. Doncaster Rovers 2, Southampton 3.
Sheffield Wednesday have got all sorts going on at the minute. Beaten by Brentford of the Premier League in the FA Cup. Chris Coles.
This always had a feel of a cup tie, a little too heavily weighted in favour of the Premier League side, and so it proved. In fact, any chance of an upset was arguably quashed when the teams were announced. The youthful forgetful, Barry Bannonless Sheffield Wednesday against an extremely strong Brentford, and what followed wasn't a surprise. Keith Andrews' side far too good. Keane Lewis Potter tapping in at the back post in the first half. A Matthias Jensen penalty made sure in the second, but they squandered so many chances to make this more convincing. Wednesday goalkeeper Piers Charles made some excellent saves, as did his 19-year-old replacement Logan Stretch after Charles was forced off injured. There are more important battles to come for Sheffield Wednesday, mainly ensuring they exit administration as swiftly and as smoothly as possible. Brentford have fallen at this stage in each of the last 3 years. No danger of that today, and given their squad and form in the Premier League, you feel they have the tools to give the FA Cup a real go this season.
Well, sometimes the ties that you feel might cause an upset come nowhere near. Isn't that right, John Southall?
Yes, absolutely. A 5-0 defeat for Boreham Wood. You can probably just hear the booming music coming from the home dressing room, just standing outside there, just by the side of the pitch. Luke Garrard is doing one of his television interviews. And it was just a step too far for Boreham Wood in the end. No repeat of the 2022 heroics. The damage really done in a 6-minute period in the first half. Kieran Lofthouse smashed in the opening goal. Burton's first of 2026. That was followed by an O'Connell own goal. And that was pretty much decisive. They didn't just create enough, Boreham Wood. I've just spoken to Luke Garrard, who said too many players just didn't perform today. A Bush header over at 2-0 was a key miss. Fabian Tavares added a third, Williams a fourth, and JJ McKinnon a late fifth. So for Burton, they're into round 4 for the first time since 2011.
And we are just over 15 minutes away from commentary in our next FA Cup game. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Aston Villa, the visitors. That's on the way. In League One, full-time scores: Luton 2, Stevenage 1, Stockport 1, Huddersfield 0, Peterborough 3, Bolton 1. And the leaders Cardiff held at Leyton Orient this afternoon, Samashu.
Yeah, not since the year 2000 had these two sides met at Brisbane Road before. Oops, I Did It Again was top of the charts and Gladiator was breaking box office records. Neither side, though, looked like Roman emperors this afternoon, but Orient will be the happier of the two, considering they'd lost their last 3 going into this one. Don Ballard up front was brilliant, hustling and harrying at every opportunity. His 12th of the season was an intercepted tap-in, but they all count. And Yusuf Salik for Cardiff also has 12 league goals. His was a brilliant solo effort. I'd say that 1-1, a fair result here at Brisbane Road, Steve.
So League One leaders frustrated, but League Two leaders win again at Tranmere. Nick Hatton.
Yes, Andy Woodman's League Two leaders absolutely flying. Tranmere 0, Bromley 2, the final score, thanks to 2 goals from top scorer Michael Cheek. He has 14 for the season, 5 of those coming in the last 3 matches. His first today came on 90 seconds. Lovely movement from him, cross from the left-hand side, found himself in space between 2 Tranmere defenders, and a lovely headed finish from 7 yards out. The crossbar denied him a second on the half-hour mark, but he got his second of the game in the second half with a simple tap-in from 6 yards out. Tranmere did huff and puff here, but they created little of note to trouble these League Two leaders. They are now 5 points clear of second place Swindon. It is a 7th EFL League win in a row, 10 wins out of 11 as well. They look unstoppable at the moment, Bromley. They are hitting form at just the right time. They host second place Swindon in 14 days' time. Full time here, Tranmere 0, Bromley 2.
The day's other game in League Two finished Crewe 1, Harrogate 1. 3 points separate the top 3 in the Scottish Premiership. Hearts and Rangers didn't play today. Celtic did, and they won. Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, full-time Celtic 4, Dundee United 0. Hope of a title win might just have been restored amongst the Celtic fan base. Today's win was a totally convincing one. United failing to muster a shot on target. It means Celtic are 3 points behind leaders Hearts, who have a game in hand and are away to Dundee tomorrow. Encouragement will have been taken from the 4 goals scored by Yang, Engels, Maeda and Negrin, but it's at the other end Celtic might be even more heartened. A first clean sheet since the 3rd of December, which was actually the last game of Martin O'Neill's previous stint as interim boss. Next comes a 4-game run of away games in 3 different competitions: Falkirk, Auchinleck Talbot, Bologna and Hearts. That last one could be tasty at Tynecastle. Full-time Celtic 4, Dundee United 0.
Other scores: the meeting of the bottom 2 finished Livingston 1, Kilmarnock 1. Also 1-1 in the game between Hibs and Motherwell, and it finished St Mirren 0, Falkirk 2. In the Scottish Championship, 2 games this afternoon: Ayr 1, Airdrieonians 1, and Wraith 2, Arbroath 3. Scottish League 1, Cove Rangers 0, Inverness 0, Queen of the South 3, Kelty Hearts 1, and Stenhouse Muir 5-0 winners over East Fife. So they are 3 points clear at the top of the table. And 2 games in Scottish League 2. Edinburgh City 1, Stirling 4, and Forfeit 2, Stranraer 2. Let me give you the National League full times as well. Aldershot 1, Solihull Moors 5, Sutton 1, York City 2. It finished Woking 4, 10-man Hartlepool 0, and Braintree 0, Boston United 0 has just got underway. So 4 teams separated by 2 points at the top of the National League. York City the leaders after that victory at Sutton United. Let's go back into the FA Cup. That all Premier League tie in extra time at St James's. Katie Smith.
And we are ticking down towards penalties now. Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 2. The clock almost ticking towards 27 minutes. So 3 to go until spot kicks. Newcastle have just had a free kick in a dangerous area, 25 yards out, just left of centre. And it was boomed just over the crossbar by Lewis Smiley. 2-2.
Let's go to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium next. On the way, full commentary of Spurs against Aston Villa in FA Cup Round 3. Less than 15 minutes to go. Vicky Sparks has the teams.
Yes, beleaguered Spurs boss Thomas Frank goes pretty much as strong as he can for this one. 5 changes, but most of these are enforced. So Richarlison, Danso, Odobert, Gray and Davis all coming in. Out go the injured Bentancur and Bergvall, the suspended Romero, while Spence and Kolo Muani are benched. Destiny Udogi's back amongst the subs after injury, but they are still missing a host of players, Tottenham. 6 changes for Villa. Ollie Watkins amongst those dropping to the bench. So Buendia, Marlon, Torres, Martson and Bogard all come in. Bizot replaces the injured Emi Martinez as well. So as well as Watkins, Digne, Lindelof, Tielemans and Sancho also dropping to the bench. And Tyrone Mings is amongst the subs as well for the first time in over 2 months after injury.
Maybe we are not heading for penalties at St James's Park. Katie.
Surely not. Not again. Newcastle 3, Bournemouth 2 with less than 2 minutes out from spot kicks. A beautiful move floated in by Anthony Gordon over on the left-hand side of the penalty area. And I've said it already once today. Who else would it be than Harvey Barnes with the header at the back post? It's Newcastle 3, Bournemouth 2.
Had to be another one for Harvey Barnes. In terms of the 5:45 games in FA Cup Round 3, we've got our game, which is Spurs versus Aston Villa, but there are 3 other matches, including National League South side, Weston-super-Mare against League 2 Grimsby. Shojo Saka will keep us up to date.
Well, League 2 Grimsby Town famously knocked out Manchester United in the League Cup earlier this season. Today, the Mariners themselves are the big fish. Weston-super-Mare make this historic first ever appearance in the FA Cup third round in great form. They're currently second in the National League South. Grimsby have good FA Cup pedigree, 2-time semi-finalists in the 1930s, more recently a quarter-final just 3 years ago. But there's a classic narrative here. Weston's top scorer is a painter and decorator. Their captain is a university lecturer, and they are looking to become the second 6-tier side today to reach round 4.
All right, we will keep you right up to date with that one. 5:45 as well for Cambridge United of League 2, have only lost once at home this season. Birmingham of the Championship haven't won away since the middle of October. John Hunt.
Indeed, Steve, what a difference a year makes. Last season, Cambridge finished over 70 points behind Birmingham in League 1, but recent form, as you've just outlined, makes this a fascinating clash. Birmingham go strong here. Clara's in for Neumann and Kyogo for Stansfield. They're the only 2 changes from the victory over Coventry City. Cambridge make 3 changes. There's no Kel Watts and George Hoddle. Yes, a famous FA Cup name, second cousin of 2-time winner Glenn Hoddle. He also starts for Cambridge. And the sides are led by 2 men with real FA Cup pedigree. Neil Harris played for Millwall in their final against Man United in 2004, whilst Chris Davis was assistant to Brendan Rodgers when Leicester won the Cup 5 years ago.
Lots of drama and fairy tales in any FA Cup season. Bristol City face Watford. 2 points between them in the Championship. They'll be thrilled, Molly Stevens.
Yeah, it's a pretty quiet crowd, let's say that, Steve. They're used to seeing Watford here at Ashton Gate. Very familiar opposition indeed. Bristol City unbeaten in their last 6 games here against today's opponents. However, Watford have knocked out the horse in all 3 of their FA Cup ties against them. Bristol City, finalists in this competition in 1909. The visitors made it all the way to Wembley in 1984, and most recently under their boss Javi Gracia in his first spell at the club in 2019. Bristol City fielding a strong 11 with January loan signing George Earthy on the bench. For Watford, 8 changes from the side that won on New Year's Day.
Thank you very much, Molly. One WSL game today finished Arsenal 0, Manchester United 0. Champions Cup rugby, so a couple of full times. It finished Pretoria Bulls 49, Bristol Bears 61 earlier. Another full time, Claremont Auvergne 21, Glasgow 33. And Sale Sharks, Durban Sharks is just getting underway. That's 0-0. In the FA Cup, it ain't over till it's over. Katie.
And we are into the 32nd minute of extra time, and it is now Newcastle 3, Bournemouth 3. It felt like everyone was switching off here. You can hear the atmosphere is completely dead, and Marcus Tavernier chasing on a ball into the right-hand side of the area, whips it past the keeper. Oh my goodness, 3-3.
Former Middlesbrough player will have enjoyed that, no doubt. Katie, thank you. Looks like we're heading for penalties there. There was never even a prayer of that at the Etihad today, and nor should there be. League One Exeter City not just beaten, but beaten 10-1 at Manchester City. Here's their assistant manager, Pep Linders, with Lee Blakeman.
Pep, just talk us through that. 10 goals in one afternoon.
It's special. No? It's never easy to have a game with 10 goals. We know that Exeter, when they play, when you let them play, when they have space, they play really well. But I think from the first minute, and even when we score more goals, we didn't let them settle. We didn't give them the chance to build, to find a free player. Our pressing, I think, was impressive today, especially when we lose the ball, how we stopped the counter and immediately were there. I think we scored 3 or 4 goals, even like we win it and we attack immediately and we score. So that's always good. And with time, I think for the fans, it was really nice to see the goal of Rodri, some individual performances. I think we respected them, even when we were winning, that we kept going and the way we defended them.
You just spent £65 million on Antoine Semenyo, who got an assist and a goal on his debut. You must be delighted for him too.
He's someone we follow for a long time. I'm here for half a year, so I know how long we follow him, but he has something what we can add on our front line. It's a willingness to go in front of the goal. It's a willingness to attack quick, and for sure he can help us in the future. It's for us to let him feel comfortable and at home, and for him to adapt quick to how we want to play.
City assistant manager Pep Linders with Lee Blakeman. Penalties at Newcastle then, Katie.
Yeah, I think we are finally there, Steve. I think the full-time whistle has gone. It's ended Newcastle 3, Bournemouth 3. What a wild ride of a few minutes we've just had. Harvey Barnes looking to be the late hero for Newcastle once again. But Marcus Tavernier, who spent some of his youth career here, had other ideas with another equaliser for Bournemouth. 3-3. We go to spot kicks.
And we will bring you them, Katie. Thank you very much. Premier League bottom side Wolves beat Shrewsbury 6-1, one of the other lower league teams who really struggled this afternoon. Robin Roos was the hero for Sunderland, the goalkeeper saving all 3 penalties as they beat Everton at the Hill Dickinson. Here he is.
The moment it gets to penalties, you hope for a scenario like this that you take all, but I think it's not really realistic, but I'm so happy that I did it. Yeah.
We could see you preparing just before. You had the names, you had things written on your water bottle, you were going over it with one of the coaches. Talk to me about that preparation. Did you follow what was on your bottle?
I've no idea. Some people I didn't exactly know the name who it was, so I think with the second one I just went with my feeling. And the rest I saw on the bottle and I just went with it. Of course Garner, I think Garner would take the first one. I already took it in the game and I just thought I'd switch it off.
It's becoming such an incredible season for
Done ever so well this league campaign. I went in there and said to the guys, I need to be a support act as opposed to a battering ram, because what we've achieved so far to date has been excellent. I have to be cautious and can't be in a position where I'm going to go and end a few people in there, because there's going to be a knock-on effect. Is it hurting me? Is it upsetting? Yes, because I didn't envisage that at the start of the game, and that's not through arrogance. There was just a belief and a confidence going into the week. I feel that we carried far too many passengers today. I felt that we had 2 or 3 in the group that were really good, give themselves a good account in terms of the way they played, but when you're carrying 6, 7 and 8, it's not good enough.
Is that the occasion?
I don't know what that is, because I've got experienced players in there that have played bigger games than this, whereas they've not gone and delivered on a performance today. I have to give credit to Burton as well, by the way, in terms of the way they played and set up. It's very similar to how we felt they were going to do. There was no surprises on that. We got a lot of joy in the 1v1 on the last line. We started the game ever so well. We started the second half ever so well, and then we go and concede the 3rd goal, which I feel was a massive catalyst to the downfall. To lose 5-0 is not nice. I'm going to get it stuck on me by my 2 sons. They're my biggest critics. But, yeah, look, like I said, I need to part this sooner rather than later. we need to right some wrongs going into next week in terms of picking these boys up, ready to go and get 3 points at Braintree.
Luke Garrard there with John Southall. Let's go back to St James's Park where the penalty shootout is about to get underway. Katie Smith.
And it feels so tense in here. Bournemouth thought they'd won it in 90 minutes. Newcastle surely had won it with seconds left in extra time. But here we are at penalties, and it's going to be Anthony Gordon to take first for Newcastle up against Petrovic. He's scored once already in normal time to take this to extra time. Now we are at spot kicks. Anthony Gordon, and he hits it. Low and true towards the left-hand corner once again. Petrovic diving the wrong way. So Newcastle and Anthony Gordon with the advantage here. The first of the spot kicks. And it's Tavernier receiving the boos now from the Newcastle fans all around us here at St James's Park in the pitch black, the floodlights on. He's given a high five from his keeper. Petrovic handed the ball. Marcus Tavernier, who scored that late equaliser to send us to this point. 3-3 it ended after extra time. Ramsdale in goal against his former side. Bouncing up and down on the line. Tavernier takes a deep breath. And the blue of Bournemouth stutters, runs up and sends it low and right. Ramsdale takes it the right way, but the ball sneaks under the body of the man in purple. So we are one apiece, Steve, here in this penalty shootout between Newcastle and Bournemouth for a place in the fourth round of the FA Cup.
Thank you, Katie. We will keep you right up to date. Some more scores to tell you about in the Champions Cup rugby. Early penalty for Durban Sharks. They lead Sale Sharks by 3 points to 0. In the Challenge Cup rugby as well, some full times. Newcastle 26, Perpignan 19. Stade Francais 27, Exeter 25. And Cardiff 32, Racing 92-13. So the big story of the day in the FA Cup, no doubt about it. Macclesfield beating Crystal Palace by 2-1. We've got more commentary later as well in the FA Cup. It's Liam Rosenior's first game in charge, and you will get full commentary of their round 3 tie at the Valley against Charlton Athletic. Back to St James's Park, Katie.
And the tall German Voltemada has his head in his hands, pings the ball up and off the crossbar. Petrovic, the goalkeeper in front of him, fist pumps into his face. So could this be advantage at Bournemouth?
All right, Katie, we'll be back there before long, I'm sure. So the 5:45 game's about to get underway in the FA Cup. We will keep you up to date with Bristol City, Watford, Cambridge United against Birmingham, Grimsby, Weston-super-Mare. But our focus is the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Thomas Frank really needs a win. Spurs Aston Villa in full with Michael Brown and Vicky Sparks.
Thank you, Steve. Welcome, everyone, as Javi Simons places the ball on the spot for Tottenham, who get us underway here against Aston Villa. And my word, aren't you right? How does Thomas Frank needs a win this evening as the ball goes out of play for an Aston Villa throw? He admits at the moment, Frank, that it is a perfect storm at Tottenham. But he says there are two things you can do. You can build fences and hide behind them, or you can build windmills. You can take this energy and use all the pressure and the noise to build a bit of momentum. But it's Villa building the momentum early on here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Into the penalty area goes Donyell Marlon, one of 6 changes that Unai Emery has made. Ollie Watkins, one of those, dropping to the bench. Tottenham with the interception, and they play it all the way back to Vicario. He's made 5 changes for this one, Thomas Frank, but he's pretty much gone as strong as he can. They are still beset by injuries, and the suspension confirmed yesterday by the FA of their captain Christian Romero. So we'll take you through the lineups in a moment. Tottenham have won a free kick inside their own half, but let's head back to St James's Park and that penalty shootout between Newcastle and Bournemouth. Katie Smith.
Well, after 2 perfect penalties, we've had 3 misses in a row, or saves, I should say. Voltemada off the crossbar, then Evan Nielsen steps up, and it's saved by Ramsdale, and now Petrovic saves from the captain, from Guimaraes. It was at a perfect height. So now it is Cook for Bournemouth to give them the advantage. He stutters. Oh, it's got a hand. Ramsdale gets a hand to it, but it just flips over and dribbles into the back of the net. So Bournemouth leading by 2 spot kicks to 1, Vicky.
Thank you, Katie. We'll be right back there for the conclusion of this shootout here on 5 Live. What an afternoon it's been here on 5 Live. Doesn't the FA Cup, particularly in the third round, always bring the drama? So the ball goes out of play for an Aston Villa throw. Away to our left, Villa kicking from left to right in this first half. We've already had the greatest upset in FA Cup history. Macclesfield of the 6th tier beating the holders Crystal Palace by 2-1. That got things underway at lunchtime. And the drama doesn't stop with this game here. We've got Chelsea and Charlton coming up. Lionel Rosinia's first game in charge for Chelsea later tonight. But our focus now at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as Aston Villa win a free kick. Again, just inside their own half, away to our left. And I can bring in the former Tottenham midfielder, Michael Brown. You were covering the Macclesfield game earlier. You've had a busy day. What a result.
Do you know, I've been blessed so far with that game, with the joy on people's faces. The FA Cup is in full flow. This round doesn't disappoint, does it? Hopefully, I haven't used it all up and we're going to get a special game tonight in this wonderful stadium against two top teams who have gone very, very strong. That makes it even more exciting, doesn't it? Just seeing Xavi Simons go tight there and Matty Cash got one on the toe. So it started lively and, you know, we're expecting goals.
So camera has been brought down here. Free kick to Aston Villa in the centre circle. Back to St James's Park. Katie Smith.
Alex Jimenez to take the advantage once again for Bournemouth. Tonali scoring his penalty for Newcastle. Stepping up, Jimenez. Saved by Ramsdale. A big, big save by the man in purple against his former club. And he roars towards the Newcastle fans. So that is a miss for Bournemouth. We stand at 2 penalties apiece and Ramsdale has walked all.
ক্লায়েন্ট রাজি হয়েছে, তুমি আসতে পারবে তো সময়ের মধ্যে?
এত চিন্তা করো না, আমাদের অনেক সময় আছে।
তুমি এখানে কিভাবে এলে?
আমি লিফট করে আসলাম অত্যাশ্চর্য হিরো এক্সট্রিম 125R এর সাথে। আপনার দিনটিকে দুর্দান্তভাবে উপভোগ করুন।
Backwards, pauses, staring down at the ball, on the spot, runs up and sends it down the middle. Petrovic dives to his right. And Joelinton roars now with delight. That is advantage back in the hands of the home side. They lead by 3 penalties to 2. And now Bournemouth are kicking to keep themselves in this FA Cup third round tie. We've gone all the way to spot kicks and it's going to be Marcus Senesi to take this crucial one now for the visitors. All the support staff lined up down on the touchline below me in the freezing cold conditions. We've been playing since 3 o'clock this afternoon. We're closing in on 6 p.m. The boos ringing around from the Newcastle fans. Senesi, stuttering run up, left-footed, and he strikes it home. So we continue on. 3 penalties apiece. Wow, the tension is ratcheting up, and now it is Lewis Hall, who came on in the second half in this game, who's going to take it for the home side. Ramsdale once again, as ever, handing him the ball. He's been the cup keeper for Newcastle. He's made a couple of crucial saves in this penalty shootout. We're into sudden death situation now. Lewis Hall standing over the ball. The 21-year-old who's got 2 goals for Newcastle already this season. He goes high. There's a hand to it from Petrovic, but it's not enough into the back of the net. So once again, advantage Newcastle. And the boos ringing out again. They're trying to make this as threatening as possible. James Hill, the Bournemouth defender, now fist bumps with Petrovic. These routines practiced by these teams in these moments. A pure drama, high tension, the stakes getting higher and higher. Ramsdale prowling around his goal line. James Hill. Never scored for Bournemouth. This is a big, big penalty. This to keep them in the FA Cup. He runs up and it just creeps above the hand of Ramsdale, who looks up to the skies in frustration. We continue on. Right, goal at Bristol City. Molly Stevens.
Yeah, Bristol City have the lead here inside 3 minutes. Across from the left, found Emil Rees, who slots the ball into the bottom left corner. It's Bristol City 1, Watford 0.
So Lewis Miley is next up for the home side. The 19-year-old, how's he going to deal with this pressure? We are into sudden death in the penalties. They have scored 4 apiece. Lewis Miley, cool as you like from the teenager. Newcastle kicking first in this shootout and continuing on. They have the advantage once again every time they score, asking the question of this Bournemouth team, who are leading for so much of normal time. And now they are having to come back each and every time. Truffert will be next. Bournemouth number 3, placing the ball down on the spot. Referee Thomas Bramall, just taking a few steps back, will now blow his whistle once again to keep Bournemouth in the tie. And Ramsdale doesn't move as the ball whips past his right-hand side. Let's head back to Spurs then and see what's going on there. Vicky Sparks.
Still goalless, 8 minutes gone, but you've missed barely anything. Boubacar Kamara has had to come off injured. Villa waiting to get Yuri Tillemans on. Villa in possession. 0-0, 8 minutes gone.
Penalties continue on here. FA Cup third round, 5 Live and BBC Sounds. We'll be back with Vicky at Spurs as soon as this concludes. It is continuing on as this game has. Harvey Barnes, the late hero for Newcastle. Of course, he doesn't miss. Straight into the left-hand side netting. Petrovic had no chance against the man who scored their opener. He scored what they thought was a late winner in extra time. Right-footed. Perfectly placed. That is now 11 goals for Harvey Barnes this season, and he scores a penalty as well. So 6 spot kicks have gone in for the home side for Newcastle. It is pressure back on the captain now of Bournemouth, Adam Smith. He's been at the club for well over a decade. The 34-year-old, hands on his hips. Ramsdale once again bouncing, clapping his hands in the goal. Stutters, Smith goes, and it just gets past Ramsdale. He thinks he saved it, but we continue on once again. Back to Vicky.
You've got all the drama where you are, Katie. Still 0-0 and nothing really happening at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as Aston Villa play it back to Marco Bizot in their goal. But there is a lot of singing at the moment from the Tottenham Hotspur fans how Thomas Frank needs to find a way somehow to get them onside. Goalless in the early stages here, 9.5 minutes played.
So 6 penalties apiece. We've had 2 saved for either side. Malik Chow now in the black and white of Newcastle. Stutters, sends the ball though nicely floated towards the right hand side of the goal. Petrovic once again diving the wrong way, and this is just ratcheting up. So 7 penalties now scored by Newcastle, by the home side, and Bournemouth are going to have to match this again. Bafodi Diakite, the centre back, handed the ball by his goalkeeper, a clap on the back as he now strides up towards the 12-yard spot. The Frenchman never scored for Bournemouth. Now he's got a huge moment to keep them in the FA Cup. Has to score this then to continue on this third round tie that may never end. What drama, we love it here on 5 Live. He runs